extra thick. Alright. Where is it? There it is. Welcome back to another game of Skyfall 5e, everybody. How was the week off for all of y'all?
Too long.
Too long.
Yeah?
Like super long.
Hey, there's Kay.
I just read chat, dude.
It's real sassy. We haven't even begun
Also,
yet.
Jimmy,
But...
my Discord. I don't know if you got my messages.
Nope, nothing.
Well, anyway, it's good to have you guys all back. Sorry the week was so long, but we are back to it now. We'll just dive right in. There is a character who's going to be joining today. As you all know, Clan is joining the party, given that Niche was devoured by some sort of, let's just call it an entity, a session or two ago. He was devoured by his own edginess. Game over. So, the last thing that you guys did on your previous session was involving Benevolence and her troop, and you guys bested her in combat, the poor thing, and sacrificed what living members of her party had remained. You took, I believe, 4 prisoners, brought them downstairs, and one by one in ritual sacrifice gave them up. One of them went to...
don't bring that up again.
Yeah, never mind. So they were sacrificed, everything was great, and you guys are currently in the temple. Most of you are in the main room. Merton, you have finished your thing that we won't talk about, and the rest of you are gathered there. The only exception is Trent. You are currently down the hall with this strange entity having a somewhat private conversation. And so instead of handing it over to you guys to see what it is that you want to do, I'm going to go to that conversation first, actually.
Is he still pumping my ego? Like, do I need to be swaggered up for this?
Swaggered up. I don't know, you can be as swagged as you'd like. He has confessed that, you know, you are one of his better pupils and everything like that, and, you know, if that is really something that turns Trent's crank, then sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to imagine I'm pretty swagged up right now.
So,
Gonna see how many times I can say that before someone gets mad.
You lose
I'm already
levels.
tilted.
So, there down the hallway, Trent, the last thing that I remember was he mentioned that there were undead behind the doors, and that you would potentially be able to restore them if you brought back enough of these sacrifices. Do you remember anything like that?
Yeah, he said something about, because we were concerned about leaving to go to, he needed us to go over on a mission for him to, what's the name of that area? Blackwater, is that what it was?
No, the elf was in Blackwater.
Yeah,
We're going to the
Blackwater. It was
mountain.
down in the...
There's a cave above the Sword Creek.
Yeah, Sword Creek, thank you. And, we were concerned about, you know, if we go over there and we needed to get some sacrifices, bring live bodies all the way across country is gonna, you know, raise some alarms and stuff. And so he told us both for that and to protect his temple, we could take one of the orbs. He would unlock one of the orbs for us, and that way nobody could come in without, you know, us being there with the orb.
Yeah, I remember that. And as long as you have the orb and the dagger, you can still make sacrifices on the road.
Yes.
Okay.
It just need to be done ritualistically.
Okay. So, you've performed this ritual a few times, and having been given these items, you're somewhat confident that you could do this on the fly. But while wandering through the hall, you're eventually stopped here as you kind of turn the corner and end up in a large room in front of the vault, which has been talked about once or twice here. And when you talk there, the creature turns to you and says, Trent, there is more than just Blackwater that I'd like you to take care of, if you're willing.
Of course. What do you need?
In the city of Hillcrest, there is one who needs to die. It does not necessarily have to be by your hand, but you will gather my favor by doing so.
Okay. Who is it?
His name is Castle Morgan, and he lives in a very nice, posh part of town. I have been watching him for some time. His transgressions against my god I will not mention, but I'd like you to go and exact revenge.
Okay, we can do that for you.
Furthermore, now that I've gained some strength, I have called out to see if there are any other resources available to me. Blackwater being one of the better that I have. But there is another devout follower who is aware of this temple, who is currently on his way. There's a family of halflings that have for a long time been an attachment to this temple, and I have not called them back in multiple generations, but the time has finally come to have their presence here once again. This halfling who is traveling here goes by the name of Zenkas, and when he arrives, which is hopefully soon, I'd like you to take him with you. You'll find that he is completely devout. All of the powers that he has come directly from me. He will not turn against you. If he does, I will remove him of all of his magic.
Okay. I'll have to talk to the group about this, but if he's a follower of yours, I'm sure it should be fine.
Now, at this time, Clan, I have a question about Zenkas. What kind of personality does he have?
His personality, like, he'll approach people, but he still stays back and, like, depends. If it's, like, one or two people, he will easily approach them. If it's a group, he'll try and end up using his silent just to get their attention. His silent speech to get their attention.
Is he, like daring and courageous, or a little bit more like cautious?
He somewhat cautious, but he still he stays back and studies a lot. Like pays attention,
Okay,
looks for detail.
more of an introvert.
Yeah.
Is he chatty, or is he kind of keep to himself?
He'll talk, like around these people. He'll sometimes just talk in their heads, but in groups, like out in public, he'll talk normally. He won't reveal that he has silent speech.
Okay, but as a rule, he's chatty.
Yeah, I'll be talking.
Okay. So, Trent, as you mentioned that there may be, some difficulty with the party, the creature turns towards you. This floating representation of Nietzsche, who was eviscerated a day or two ago, turns in your direction and says, "I have watched over this halfling for quite some time. I'm sure that your group will find him both useful and well aligned to your current status."
Okay. Well, I'm sure you know better than us, especially if you've been with this guy for a while. They should take him, and if he's as useful as you say.
Good. He reaches over and places a hand onto your shoulder. You can feel that it's quite cold. He says, "Come, let's rejoin the group, Trent."
Okay. Do we need to go pick him up or anything, or?
He's on his way here. I'm not certain if he'll be here in a day or weeks, but I'd have you wait, at least in the ruins or around the temple, till he arrives.
Okay, we can do that.
He nods to you. And he returns back towards the group. And you guys see coming around the hallway here, this would probably be shortly after Merton comes back, that Trent is brought over with this, like, floating entity.
Just
Welcome
watching.
back, Trent. Are you
Hey,
done
guys.
speaking with your avatar?
Well, sort of. We're done our private talk, but there's something we need to bring up with you all.
Mm-hmm.
I have not taken a name for many years, but for the sake of simplicity, call me Deso. He was the last of my disciples.
Deso?
Interesting name, a little spooky.
The thing kind of nods in your direction, and he turns back towards you all and he says, "This temple has fallen into disuse throughout the years, but as I have mentioned, there are still some allies throughout the lands, and I've called on one of them. A cleric of death travels along the road for this temple. I would have him join your group if you'll accept him. He is resourceful, and his family is bound to me. He could no more turn away from the path that I set for him than any other bound slave."
Probably better to seek allies that we already know their alignment.
I mean,
It's okay with me.
are we gonna clash? Can I record everything with my book?
If we have any problems with him, he won't be this long.
Alrighty.
If you have any problems with him, he will lose all the magic he has. I don't anticipate any misgivings.
Yeah, guys,
Let's hope we
Deso
get
thought
him.
everything through. He's got us covered, since we're missing an ally in a niche anyway.
I
Furthermore,
look over at Nitch, who's speaking as
I'm gonna
Deso.
point to, I was gonna point to Nedge.
there is something else. After this cleric of death arrives, you are all free to do what you wish. Blackwater is off in the mountains, and I would like to know where he has gone to, and whether or not you can recover the dagger from him if he is finished with it. However, much closer in the city of Hillcrest, there is currently one who needs to die. My god demands it, and though it doesn't have to be by your hand, you would gain my favor by doing so. I've already told Trent exactly of his name and where he lives.
I nod along.
Killing
Can I
someone
repeat
inside the
Trent for the
city will
book?
be much more difficult than finding a few stragglers in the ruins.
Thankfully, he is outside of the walls. He's in the city proper, but not in the noble quarters past fortifications. I anticipate his estate will have at least some people looking out for him, but with your unique skills, I don't see any problems.
I told Deso we'd have it done for him.
Well, I hope
like this
Trent
if
is
Trent said
receiving a
we'll do it.
boon for a side task as this, but I am happy to oblige.
I mean, we're headed that way anyway, right? Need to restock there.
This temple will flourish, more that you can accomplish in its name. That should be boon enough. But I have considered lending some power to you, Trent. I will have to think on it.
I stand up and dust my my ass off here. And, well, I suppose we can go look for your halfling friend.
Wait upstairs. There's nothing left. Those are 2 quests. We'll see to. I have no problem with either of them.
Yeah,
Very
let's
good.
go. Where are we gonna find him?
Well, he's coming here. We might as well just, either wait here or wait upstairs, and he'll show up eventually.
We have things to talk about. We have bodies to dispose of.
Before we leave, Deso, is there any recommendation for how we should make it back to Hillcrest? Because I believe the forests have some dangers.
These lands have grown wild in the last few years. Guys travel with others, but there is little out here. You will have to find your own way back.
Benevolence made it through the woods. I doubt we'll be as lucky, but I think we stand a fair chance.
What were her numbers?
The ones we killed.
Well, there were more. There was like 7.
I believe it was 8 or 9 total.
I believe with the help of this cleric, you should be fine. Perhaps he comes traveling with a group, and you can simply go back with him.
Group or not, we have to get back there somehow. We'll have to make do.
If you can bring enough power and glory back to this temple, I can assure you that travel will no longer be an issue.
Oh.
That sounds fancy.
Wow, Trent.
I turn and beam at Team Money.
Don't.
Like I still call her Team Money, even though it's in anger. Well, shall we wait down here, or would you like us to wait in the ruins?
These halls are as much yours as they are mine, so long as Trent keeps you.
Let's head upstairs. I kind of want to take care of those bodies up there anyway. Plus, it would be rude for our guests to show up and walk into a bunch of corpses.
Oh, right.
I don't imagine he'll be making it through the monkeys by himself easily anyway, so yes, maybe best upstairs.
As you leave, do not forget the orb, Trent. I go to
Yep.
rest now.
I'll talk with you soon.
The figure moves back and gradually changes from like a darkened specter into a lighter gray until eventually just disappearing.
As we're walking out, I'm gonna turn to everybody and be like, "I'm not like a bad guy, am I?"
You most certainly are.
Oh, I guess.
But we need to have a
But-
talk. Let's wait till we're upstairs.
But-
I've been thinking.
Okay. Do you guys wander upstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Do?
You guys make your way up, and as you're traveling through the ruins, you eventually get to the room that has these 3 statues, each of which holds one of the orbs. And all of you guys can hear, upon entering the room, even before that, as you're getting towards the top landing of the steps, that there's a whispering that comes from one. And it's rather faint, but you can see that there's like this plainly noticeable sort of echo of multiple voices emanating from one of the orbs.
Bet that's the one, guys.
Well, I think that's your job to keep that safe.
All right, I'll go grab it.
When you go and place your hand on it, the whispering subsides, and strangely enough, these orbs which were locked in place don't seem to have that same magnetism, and you can easily lift it off. It's a little heavy. I'd say it weighs probably about 5 pounds, so you can add that to your inventory. But once you pull it off of there, everything is fine. And the whispering doesn't really continue either when you hold it in your hand. Like it's not overwhelming like it was before. You hear faint murmurings, but it's not jarring.
Illusion, for my sake, can you repeat that guy's name that I am supposed to go kill, so I can add it to my
Put it in chat here.
PDF here?
That's his name. And we will say that he is giving you his location. You should be able to find it using the instructions he's given you.
T-Money, you want to shut the book off for a second?
Sure. Book.
Uh-oh. The book closes.
Okay, so we're looking for a guy named Castle Morgan, and I'll give them a description of where we can find and kill him.
Perhaps we should find our halfling follower. or your companion.
Oh yeah, I know. I just wanted to tell you guys with the book off the record because I figure if we're gonna go murder somebody, probably shouldn't be writing it down. Just in
Reasonable.
case.
But Tessa shared this information with us in public. Is there anything else he shared with you in private that we should know?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, that was
Well,
said
if
he's
your
getting
divine,
stronger.
if your divine wants to keep secrets with you, then you should respect that. And
I mean, I don't really think we didn't really talk about that much. Talked about my role and told me I'm a really good follower and best he's had in centuries and
I think he's
You know.
toying you.
Careful trusting the words of demons and such. They like to fluff you up. Now, before we head up to all the noise, we all do need to have a talk. What we did earlier, Benevolence was a good person. I think we can all agree about that. And we killed her because she was a loose end, not because we are senseless murderers. Do we all understand that? I don't like killing innocent people unless I have to. My God doesn't discriminate between good and bad, but I do need to kill, otherwise he takes away my powers and then I'm as good as a dead man. So I think moving forward, we should be careful who we talk to, because killing innocent people like Benevolence is not something we should do. I know, Trent, you feel that way.
Yeah, definitely. Not to mention that, killing good people is going to get us caught faster. No one cares if you kill the shitty guy down the road who sleeps around and tortures people, but if you kill someone who everybody likes, they're more inclined to look for them and
reasonable.
find the ones responsible.
I think after we meet up with this halfling man, definitely need to let him know, what we're up to. I said that yes, you're a bad guy because what we did was a very bad thing. I think we should try to move ourselves to more. We can do bad things to bad people, but when we start doing bad things to good people, I think is a problem.
I will agree with Trent on the self-preservation being of utmost importance. But the means that we do things should keep that in mind. And I agree, I made a mistake in disclosing information in the hopes of gaining an ally. But at the end, bad or good, it's for the makers to decide, not for us. The important is to just stay alive, continue our mission.
That's all.
Okay, you can turn your book back on now, T-Money.
All right, book.
The book hovers up as you guys finish your conversation. Where are you going? What are you doing?
Do you guys want to go look for the bandits that we think might be in the ruins here?
Well, I'm okay
Sure.
with that, but we should keep an eye out for a halfling. Was there any description of them that
Let's not accidentally kill our companion.
that Desso gave you, so we don't or we know how to identify them?
Just that he's kind of like, did he tell me all that stuff that Clan told you about like his personality or no?
No. He simply told you that he was a halfling and he's a cleric of death. He didn't give you any sort of physical description or anything like that.
Did we at least get the name?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He calls himself Zenkas. I think that's how you say it.
Okay. Shouldn't be too many halflings randomly wandering around the ruins named Zenkus.
Now,
Does anybody have like a torch or something?
Yeah, I do.
We can just set up like a. I mean, if we get outside, we can, you know, set up a torch that he can light if he comes close. Because he knows where the temple is.
I don't think I'll have a problem finding us. We'll be around. Why don't we focus on cleaning up our mess?
Oh yeah, the bodies. Right, we gotta take care of that.
so you guys travel towards the upper end there and start to mess around with the bodies. And at this point, I want to cut over towards you, Zenkus. Your life has revolved mostly around the city of Yule and its outskirts. And the city of Yule is very well known for its kind of like strange cults and old practices. And though to you this would be normal, the outside world would most certainly consider your grandfather's worship to kind of fall into one of these categories. And you've kind of taken up his mantle recently. Having had him disappear, you've been trying to find whatever you can as far as clues go as to his disappearance, but so far have come up empty. And it's not until one fateful evening, as you slip off into dream, that you're visited by something that clearly shows itself to be the Whispering God, this entity that your grandfather has worshipped for so long. The Whispering God informs you that there is a group that he wishes you to go and travel along with, and that he holds the answers to the questions that you have. And he doesn't specifically tell you what those questions and answers are, but you're under the impression that he's definitely talking about your grandfather. So, after having this dream, he informs you of a location, a set of ruins, far off towards the east. And you see the location in your dreams, the ruined buildings. You're also shown somebody who is to be your leader in this, who you will faithfully follow behind, and who it is important that you keep alive through all these travels, all these trials and tribulations. Your primary goal is to make sure that this individual does not die, as he is resurrecting a coven, and you are going to find a spot in his kind of in his group. The image that is shown to you is a shadowy thing, and is most certainly not the perfect representation of somebody, but you see like a human who's roughly about maybe 6-ish, maybe like 5'10", or something like that, with a shortish kind of hair, human features, that sort of thing. It's like a muddled up image. And after that, the dream ends. How would you go and find your way over towards this temple? What would you do? What would be your mode of transport? What would you go about doing to get over there?
I would try and see if there was any passage, like not supply line, but passage that would lead me close to the area. So like along the road that goes east to west to Hillcrest, like down from Yule.
Like a caravan?
Yeah, seeing if a caravan goes there for supply to drop supplies off or not.
Okay. I would say you would be able to find a caravan. It would probably take a day or two, as Yule is a little bit out of the way, but you do eventually hop on with some sort of like merchant land ship that's headed off towards Hillcrest. And when you get over towards this end, you're finally at the point where you're going to make your turn off of the main road to head down towards the ruins, and you're faced with a decision whether or not you hire on people to escort you, or if you brave the wilderness alone. And you know that you're on a divine quest of sorts, but even being on a divine quest, the troubles of the wilderness are still present. Would you hire anybody on, or would you kind of brave it? Try to, like sneak your way over there or something like that?
I would see if anyone in the area is like, since it is a wooded area, I'd see if there was any people that were doing, like, see if there's anyone around there that's doing like tree removal or.
Oh, Most certainly not.
No. Okay,
No,
not that area.
there are very few honest folk in any of the wilderness.
Okay.
Sorry, what does that mean? That you would go alone, or?
Thinking, I would if I couldn't find anything else going that way, but I still would like, instead of just like cutting right through the forest, I'd still try and like like go around the coast if I couldn't find anyone going near there.
Okay. I would say that on your caravan, there is a group of rangers that are willing to escort you there, but they do command a price for it. And how much gold do you have in your inventory?
55.
Okay. There is a set of 3 rangers that offer to take you in towards the ruins, and they will do so for 15 gold. You'll have to find your way back, but they'll pay, or sorry, they'll accept pay for the one-way trip. Would you pay that, or would you decide to go alone?
I would pay that.
Yeah? Okay. So with this group of 3 rangers, you travel off towards the south. And your time amidst the trees and everything is not without peril. On multiple occasions, you run into the remnants of human bodies that have been laying in different parts of the woods, thoroughly gnawed through with broken bones, and the unmistakable signs along different trees of crazed, monstrous beasts that must be wandering through the area. But you do eventually get there safe. When you get in towards the ruins, the rangers turn towards you and ask you whether or not you are done with their services and they can return back to town.
I am done with your services.
Okay.
I'm here to watch these weird. How far in did we go into the?
You're just on
Can
the
they see the
outskirts
buildings?
of the ruins. Yes, you can see all like the broken buildings and everything.
Okay. I'm here to observe these wild. Would I be able to see the apes from the outskirts or no?
No.
I'm done with your services. If I need to find my way back, I'll hug the shoreline.
One of them turns towards you. He says, "What are you, crazy?"
Oh, I'm not sure how long I'll be here for. So I don't want to risk your guys' lives just for little old me.
Another one shrugs. He says, "Cash is cash." And the others kind of seem to nod. And eventually, they, kind of give you a bow. One of them says, "Well, best of luck on the road." And he gives you a wave, and the 3 of them turn to leave. You are left...
Sorry, did you say 15 each or 15 total?
Total. The group turns and goes after you pay the small fortune for their services, and you're left here in the ruins. It's a very sort of desolate place, and despite the fact that this must have been a large city at one point, there's basically nothing left other than a bunch of stones and broken down buildings. Are you trying to find this place in your dream?
Yes, I'm trying to find a place from my dream.
Okay. So, travel through the ruins takes a little bit, but after only a couple of blocks, you start to recognize buildings that you've passed, ruins that you've seen in your dream, and before long, you're turning down a street headed exactly in the right direction. It's almost like being in that space once again. And as you go further and further down, you eventually find yourself in front of the large building itself. And when you get there, you see what looks like a huge selection of these strange kind of like monkey-like creatures, which are all huddled around the house. And having been in the ruins, you'd seen one or two here and there, but at this house in particular, the one from your dreams, they are all over the place. They seem to have picked this one specifically. You're not sure what that significance may be, but after a moment, you watch as the building suddenly comes alight. Over in its main doorway, the orangish light of a torch or some sort of lantern comes out and seems to scatter the monkeys. You watch as a bunch of them run out of the main door, another one seems to leap from a window up top and hops to another building nearby. They all sort of scatter around, and you see a group step out into a room past the doorway, which no longer has any door, and you see this figure from your dream. Here he is, the human that you were shown. This is the one that has to live. And you guys have just wandered out in towards this main room here, about to clean things up. The bodies are still laying all over the place, the ones that were already dead, at least. And when you step out into this room, using the torches, which repels all the creatures, you see through the doorway, standing there in the middle of the road, what appears to be a lone halfling. What are you wearing, exactly? Is it more or less like your picture, like just some dark clothes?
It's dark clothes, but it's traveler. Like I have hide armor, and I do have a shield. But the hide armor, I just have traveler's clothes over top of it, but that are darker than normal.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so
I'm
you
not
see,
hooded though.
you guys see what looks like this short, diminutive man. There's a halfling across the road there who is dressed in a set of traveler's clothes with the different pouches and belts. It's a little bit of a darker fabric and everything, and there's a sort of shield thrown over his back as well.
I think it's worth mentioning that the guy he is like sent to protect by this death cult god is like running out of the house, slinging fire bolts around, like making weird noises as he scares the monkeys away like a little kid.
Lightsaber noises.
Like pew 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 pew.
When I notice the halfling, I'll say in a low enough voice for us to hear, but if he's significantly far away, you probably can't hear.
I really hope that is our friend Trent, because after Paladin Mern's rousing speech, it would be unfortunate to have to take care of one so quickly.
I'm pretty sure it's it.
Oh hey, you over there?
The human calls
What's your
out
name?
in your direction, Zencass. He sounds young, and he kind of looks it too. Strange that this would be the one that you're supposed to protect, or maybe fitting that this is the one you're supposed to protect.
How close is he to him?
He's across the street and kind of in the doorway here, poking his head out to shoot small motes of flame at the different monkeys, which scatter all over the place.
I yell, it's you. You're the one from my dream.
Look at that, Trent. He's thinking of you.
Everybody is Team Monkey.
The book
What's your name, buddy?
The book momentarily moves from one of your shoulders to the other, and you watch as it moves in front of your face there, T-Money, drawing a small heart at the end of that last sentence.
No.
It crosses it
Role-playing
out.
the book now.
You can see that there's a woman with the group, and she seems to have a floating book that writes itself. Strangely enough, she must be a caster of some kind.
Halfling, what's your name?
Trent, maybe you should stop yelling towards him.
Trent, you just
Trent, why
called
don't you
him by-
go? Why don't you go meet him in person? I'll give him a little slap on the butt.
Trent, you also
Slap
just
on the
called him
butt?
I don't think I said his name, did I?
by- He did.
The book draws a second heart.
No.
I'll take care of the monkeys.
Yeah.
You go ahead, Trent.
Oh, I'm gonna give like a nod at Zakul and then pick up Benevolence's body and start taking her away.
Sure. I'll push the
Burn
monkeys
that
away
one,
while
come on.
getting the other bodies as well.
I'll run over to the halfling.
Okay.
I look up since he's much taller than me, and I don't say it out loud. I just say it in, like, I don't know. I know he speaks common, but I don't know what else he speaks. So I'm just saying, I'm using my silent speech to say to its head, "Hello, I'm Zencast." In common, halfling, elvish, and undead. I don't know what he understands. I'm just flooding his head with all of them.
All of them except the last one.
Hey, I understand most of those. I don't know what the last thing you said was, but I'm assuming it was the same as the first three. Hi, Zencast. I'm Trent. I'm gonna call you Z. What's up?
Oh
That's
my
not
God.
gonna get confusing.
No,
Fuck
don't
me.
do that. Don't do that to us.
All right, I'll come up with something else.
If he gets the blink spell, you could call him Cassidon.
From the void.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
I hear you're a death cleric, right?
Yes. I just look at him like he's saying this out loud.
Trent,
Yeah, it's
where
cool,
are you-
man.
Where are you saying?
Now, it's
We're
strange
all,
to hear somebody talk about this so candidly, but you do notice that in the street, there is nobody else around. It's just his group and a bunch of stray monkeys which are running around, escaping for the hills.
Trent, why don't you get used to the quiet while we, are in a forgiving place?
Hey, I'm introducing myself to a new friend here.
Well, just practice, what we talked about.
Yeah, Trent, like not spilling everything you know to the first person you meet.
In case you haven't noticed, everybody treats me like I'm a kid here.
Because you act like one.
You act like a kid.
I wander over to Kay's book and see if the word "death clear" was written down.
If you want, I could scribble it out.
I
As
just
you wander
take out
over,
my I just,
the book is
just take out my
currently...
quill and start scribbling it out.
You cannot write in my book. Book dodge that.
The book hovers around her shoulder height, so being a halfling, it's really far away, and you find that you actually can't read it, because it's always got its, its face sort of turned towards Tessa, so at this angle it's impossible. But as you come over and look at it, you can see, yeah, there's like a quill there, and it seems to be just frantically writing things down on the page.
I say to her in her head, does it record what I say to you even though it doesn't hear it?
How come you can't speak openly, halfling?
I can. I just don't want that recorded what I am.
Why don't you just ask me instead of speaking into my mind?
This way is more fun and no one knows and no one will hear it out loud in case there is someone. I did have several people escort me to the outside of this.
Oh, you have escorts? Can they take us to the Hillcrest?
Book remove Death Cleric from the page.
It scratches out.
I'm not sure how far they've gotten back since we parted ways.
Table talk, you think there's been at least a couple hours that you've been wandering through the ruins.
They gone.
So gone.
Hey, Zenkis, want to see something cool?
Trent, what are you gonna show him? Tell us first before you show him.
Gonna show him something your book can do.
Nope. Nope, book turn off. And I'm gonna hold my book.
Yeah, she seems to pretty scared of things that I might do. So, if you ever need the book off, just let me know, because I can usually get her to turn it off pretty
Book's not
easily.
recording.
I'll just ask her to turn it
I'm
off.
gonna take a knee facing Team Money.
Oh no, where's this going?
Can I sidekick Trent in the head?
Sure.
Lightly.
Lightly,
You know,
okay.
Like politely, like push them over.
This is the first roll of the night.
You kneel down, like a knight before his king and queen, ready to have the sword placed on either shoulder, when instead, the scuff of a boot strikes the side of you.
Ow!
Get up.
Book, record that infighting has fallen amongst the party.
Book, scratch that.
They're already at each other's throats. This is good drama.
I'm
Team Money.
gonna go stand next to Zakul.
I think we're walking
Oh.
away to dispose bodies, probably
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
water.
I'm gonna go
So.
help Zakul and Merton.
Yeah, Tessa, grab that body over there. As
Sure.
as I heft the other two over my shoulder.
I'll start dragging one of them.
Okay. Tessa, I'd like you to go ahead and make for me a wisdom roll, please. Straight wisdom.
How dare you?
First roll of the evening.
That's 17.
Ah, okay. You notice something strange. Your book has always been your faithful companion for all of its time that you've had it, and more or less it functions just like a notary that does exactly what you tell it, and then, stops when you want it to, starts when you want it to. This time, as Trent calls out and you give commands as well, you notice something strange about the book. It would have evaded you had you not been paying close attention, but you see an unnaturally long time where the quill seems to quiver there, like it doesn't know what it wants to do, and then obeys your order. But you've never seen it quite do that. You're not sure what's going on.
Huh. I'll have a talk with my book later then. Strong-worded argument with it.
You guys walk into a tavern room and Tessa's just got a belt just hitting the book or something over and over.
Oh my god, how the fuck did you know?
Solves
Holy
everything.
Asian discipline.
Now,
You just need to stroke the spine like this, Team Lennon.
oh no!
Do not touch the goddamn book.
I have my pointer finger raised out in front of me.
Trent.
Just one touch. Come on, let me see if it likes me.
No, I'm gonna grab the
It's
book.
the closest thing to a pet we have.
Don't touch it.
I'm gonna try and take a monkey home then.
Well, Zenkis, I don't know how strong you are with your puny little arms, but perhaps you can grab the body that Tessa has dropped
Oh,
in
maybe
her
we should be nice to him.
fight over here.
He's
I
a little
think the
racist. He doesn't mean it. I'll say that
No
in
lie.
halfling.
Oh my god. Do you both speak halfling?
What's
He is
that?
a halfling.
Oh, he is. Holy shit, you finally found someone to connect with.
Table talk, Dragonborn are very racist.
Oh, really?
Native-born Dragonborn, yeah.
No idea.
If you're born over
Ghost-
here, then, it just depends on what your parents were like. But the ones from
Ghostwise or-
Kith- yeah.
Ghostwise are xenophobes against other halflings.
Yep.
Just because you're racist doesn't mean you have to be hostile towards them. You just have predispositions about certain things.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You're
thought that was
convinced that the
funny.
stereotypes are true, basically.
Yeah. Playing like that, I love that.
So you can see
Been
here,
good so
Senkus, that the group that you've joined consists of a human who definitely seems to have a quirky personality, an armored man who seems to be considerably older than him, a woman who has a magical book that seems to move to her every beck and whim, and a large dragonborn set in heavy armor, armed to the teeth. They're an interesting group.
Can I step aside with my book to start talking to it?
Sure.
Book? Why did you hesitate to follow my command? Write it on the corner of the page, don't write it in the story part.
I'd like you to roll luck, please.
God damn it. Wait, I just dropped it. Ugh.
Does it have a black man voice?
14.
The book does nothing. It simply opens its pages and gets ready to write down. And it seems to be waiting for you to give the command to start recording or not.
Book? Does it start writing the word book?
Have you told it to start recording?
No, but
Okay.
I told it to just answer my question in the corner of the page.
You get no answer. And the book has never really been one that you can actually hold a conversation with. It doesn't necessarily have a personality.
I'm sure I would talk to it like it does.
Yeah. So you've treated it that way, much like somebody would speak to their maybe to their steed or something like that, or maybe to their sword, right? But obviously, it's never been able to respond. And here you find that the book does the same and does not respond.
I'm gonna tell Zakul that away from Trent. Away
Aha.
from Trent.
Okay, so Trent, Merton, and Zencast, you guys are kind of in a main room, and Tessa and Zakul, you guys pull away into another one. By now, you guys are so used to the sound of the monkeys screaming outside that it kind of just becomes the background noise in the local area. And Tessa and Zakul, you guys are over in a little side room. What do you talk about?
So cool, my book hesitated to follow my command.
Well, magical items are fickle things.
I've had this book my whole life. Well, my adventuring life.
Well, time has been known to weigh magic and twist it in different ways. Should spend some time reassessing what the magic wrought on those pages are exactly.
Can I read the last couple pages of my book? Like, are they correct to everything that's happened?
They are.
And there's no, like, anything where, like, he paused to follow me or Trent? There's nothing there?
No, it seems to have followed your commands, and just like you've asked from it, there are parts that suddenly stop, and then other parts where it picks up again.
It's like my book is starting to pick a new owner.
Or perhaps all the commands you're giving it is starting to confuse it. May not be very complex magic that's on it.
Yeah, as long as it continues to only listen to me. Alright.
Well, we need to finish clearing these bodies with Paladin
Yeah.
Martin and see if we
Yeah.
can get on our way.
Well,
Rejoin the group or lead my way back towards the group.
we all follow her.
I tell them I can help with moving the bodies, but it's usually better if they're in pieces.
I always believed burning them or cremating them was just as efficient at getting
can
rid
burn
of
them.
any evidence.
Or you can just give them to your deity to take care of. That's what I
Perhaps,
did.
perhaps they will rise as more of those undead down there and serve as temple guardians.
Nobody's getting down there without this thing. I'm kind of shaking my backpack.
Oh, well.
The
Then I suggest we
burning
take.
idea works.
Yeah, I suggest we just get the bodies in the pit here. And I'll dig a little pit and offer to burn all the bodies together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Zincast.
Yes.
I won't really get a chance to show you this stuff later. You want to see some cool stuff? I mean, you're a follower too, right? The Whispering God?
Of course I am. Why else would I be here?
Come here. I'll like separate a little bit from the group, and I want to show him my dagger and my orb.
Ah. You watch as, withdrawn from the bag here, Trent pulls out a dagger, a dark and obsidian thing, and immediately you recognize this as the symbol of the Whispering One. It's plain to see. It's like a holy symbol, much like your own. However, after that, he pulls out a second item, and that item could easily make a follower of this god gasp as a whispering orb is pulled out. Something that you immediately recognize from your grandfather's drawings and some of his research as being a holy artifact to the whispering god.
I would reach inside, like I'd put my own in my backpack and I'd pull out my grandfather's book and just turn to the page that has a picture of it.
Sure. You watch as the halfling goes into his own bag and pulls out a textbook. Flipping through the pages, he eventually comes to one that has the orbs there. And you see there's like a diagram with 3 statues holding the 3 orbs.
Hey, that's where we were. That's right down there.
Past all of the apes.
Yeah, you just wave a little fire in their face and they run away.
Or ball bearings. Oh wait, I'm not there, am I? Never mind. Take that.
So like,
I'm just gonna look at the dagger as he was holding it, just because I hadn't seen an obsidian one. I'd seen a dark dagger.
Mm-hmm. This is like a true to life version. It's like having seen a representation of something for a long time, like a little wooden horse with a man on it, and then one day out in the street you watch as a fully, plate armored knight goes by on his steed, and you're like, oh, that's the real thing. It's just like that.
Just shock and awe, like, oh my god, he actually has one.
As you look at it, you hear something too. The orb, which he has there in the other hand, seems to emit whispers that you can make out. They're not comprehensible. You can't understand what they're saying, but there's like a faint sort of magic to it. And as soon as you notice it and kind of look in its direction, it seems to fade and then disappears. It's clearly
Oh,
magical.
I have an idea.
I just keep turning my head to it and then looking away.
I'll put my hand on the orb, kind of quiet myself, and Deso, did you wish to speak to Zenkas? He's arrived.
It takes a moment, but gradually the whispers that you hear when your hand touches start to dissipate and pull away as something larger and more powerful bubbles up to the surface, and Deso's voice comes through and says, "Yes, if you'll allow it, you can touch the orb."
I'll hold the orb out, like still keeping my hand on it, and be like, if you want to talk to the Avatar, his name is Deso. He's the one who called you here. Just reach out and touch the orb.
I put my hand towards it and then I just touch it with only one finger.
The moment your finger touches, you hear whispers that now go into your mind, which is something familiar. It's much like you get the ghost-wise powers you normally have, but it's impossible to understand what they're saying. There's so many of them whispering at the same time, it's impossible to really gather any info. But they seem to gradually pull apart and move away, distant and quieter, as something else approaches. You can practically feel something moving towards the edge of the orb. And when the voice speaks, you recognize it as the voice from your dreams. And it calls out towards you and says, "My cleric, you've finally come."
As I feel it coming towards, my hand starts to shake a little bit, like just tremble a little. Not used to this at all. And I say to him, "Yes, I finally made it here after quite an interesting journey."
All will be revealed in due time, but I am pleased to see that you have finally arrived. See to it that Trent is safe. He is currently the leader of the Coven, and cannot fall to death. It is not yet his time.
I will do the best I can to keep him alive.
Now, while this is happening, Trent, you hear everything that's being said between Deso and between Zenkas. And it's on like the other side of a wall of whispers, but it's enough that you can understand what they're saying. The thing continues, and it says, "I too am a follower of the Whispering God. You may call me Deso, and I will be communicating with Trent through this orb. Remainder this journey."
Hello, Deso.
You do not know this, but it is I who has given you these powers. I want you to know that if Trent does come to pass, and you did not do everything in your power to save him, your life as a cleric will end.
I understand.
That being said, mysteries will become clear, and I know there is something of which you seek, and I can provide it for you, as long as you keep him alive. Do you swear it? You will always watch over him?
I swear.
You You feel the entity leave, pulling away from your finger, retreating further in towards the center of the orb. It eventually disappears, and the whispers are all that can be heard.
I'll take my hand completely off of it.
Okay.
As I'm like wrapping the orb up and putting it away, I swear that was not a trap to get you like to make a deal or something. I just thought maybe you'd want to talk to him.
I've already made my deal with him way before.
Oh, good. Okay. Woo! I was like, we're getting off to the wrong foot here, man. You know what I mean?
Zakul and Tessa, you hear nervous laughter from Trent, rooms away.
Oh, make note of that, book. Nervous laughter from Trent or the room of Zenkas?
Merton will go over to Zenkas and extend a hand. Zenkas, is that it?
Yes, it's Zencast. I go and shake his hand.
Sure.
You can call me Merton. If you need anything, let me know.
The man in front of you has the look of a slightly portly mercenary or knight who has definitely seen a good deal of years compared to the others here, with the possible exception of the Dragonborn, whose age is difficult to tell.
With a nod, I'll go back to the bodies if there's more to do with that.
I would say I've been spending all this time like making
so
sure
am I.
they're burning and
Sure.
properly in the pit and buried after they started smoldering.
Does anybody have any lamp oil?
I have a flask of oil.
Actually, yeah.
If you sacrifice one of those, then you guys can burn all these bodies and erase their presence.
Oh, I actually don't have it in this character.
Sure. I will use one.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have 2 left.
Without kindling, which is obviously nowhere to be found in these ruins, it's tough to get the bodies to light. But with a little bit of lantern oil here, their clothes gradually go up in flames, and soon there is a pile of bodies just outside of the building here, all burning away. Or are you doing this inside the building?
No, we dug a little pit outside.
Definitely
Okay.
outside, yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
it
we
is a wooden
should.
building, and I think we should be good to leave now.
Yep, if we're all good, we should go as soon as we can.
Yeah, let's
Business
get out of this
calls.
place.
North then.
North.
North.
What's
As-
north?
Hillcrest.
Now,
Things
are we
to do.
following the shore on our way up? Or making a straight shot?
I prefer to get back as soon as we can.
Well, if time is of the essence, then straight through the woods on the trail will be the best.
We're gonna die.
Thanks, Trent.
Book, write that down.
Don't.
Well, we took care of the party that made it through these woods on their own. I think we can take our chances. Just be careful out there.
they got lucky.
more than-
They didn't see any Hyperx beasts.
Well, let us hope we are equally lucky than Trent.
Perhaps they were quiet and smart about their path. We should do the same.
As they're talking about this, I just want to look at the closest monkey and just start saying words into its head, seeing if it responds to anything.
The creature flees the very moment your first word is spoken into its mind. It, takes a few steps away, turns to you, screams, then turns and runs off.
I just have a little grinning look, like, and then I join. Then I follow with them.
Okay. You guys gather yourselves, and with the bodies all finally burnt up, you kind of replace the dirt, and no one would be the wiser that anything has really taken place here. What do you guys want to do? Travel north into the forest?
Seems to be
Yeah.
the plan.
Begin our walk back.
Who's feeling lucky? It's that time of the evening.
Time
Oh,
to see
boy.
if the first TPK comes around.
That is a 7.
Oh boy.
I would like a group perception check, please.
The bandit.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh,
We haven't even taken a rest since that the fight
Oh,
with
sorry, what were we
everybody,
rolling?
have we?
The lap
No.
noise is too loud behind me.
Group
yeah, I guess
perception.
that was still this day, wasn't it?
Yep.
Post into chat, please.
Perception, sorry. Hold on.
I thought we had a short rest after the benevolent fight, though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like I have no spells.
Oh yeah, we have not taken a long rest since before
No.
that.
Yeah.
We have not.
Okay. Your group goes wandering off into the woods. And only after about an hour or two do you notice something off in the distance. Zencast, something is amiss. As your group is wandering up ahead, you note that one of the trees nearby looks almost like something had fallen from its upper canopy, as one of the branches is broken. You can also see evidence of something else that's a little bit different about the tree, though at this distance it's too hard to tell.
I say to them in their heads, just so I don't rise much suspicion from it if there's something is around, that there's something wrong with the tree up ahead. Something weird.
Can I, oh, I'm not muted. Can I look at the tree?
Sure.
See if there's anything weird that he mentioned?
I'd like you to make a nature check, please.
Oh baby, there's a 0+ to this one.
How close are you to the tree, by the way?
That's a 4.
Nice.
Thanks. I'm probably as close as... I'll probably be behind the middle of the group.
Okay. The tree seems to be gnarled. Unlike the others, which seem to rise up straight like pillars shooting out of the ground, this one kind of bends off to the side a little bit and then bends back, almost as though its growth has been stunted or modified in some way. You also note that some of its branches are broken. Not really sure what's going on with it, but it definitely sticks out from the rest now that it's been pointed out.
Can I... So, like, if the party comp is a tree, let's say it's on our right, can I stand on the opposite side of that in the party comp?
Sure, I'll draw the tree here. Let's say that the tree's base takes up probably about...
So I would want to be,
that
like,
space.
here, behind the cool spooky tree.
If we
the
got
moment
the
we
warning,
stop, the moment any animals have time to range themselves around us, I suggest we just keep moving.
right? Can we just like walk away from it on the side, or were we going directly towards him? And would that look natural or unnatural? I don't know what.
It's just kind of on the side. I'd say that you guys are probably, like, here and traveling in this direction.
Sure. With the warning, I would say we just like slightly deviate.
Say we just take like a turn and go like that way,
Right.
and then go that way.
We don't say anything. We just naturally start
Yeah, I would
moving
just
in that
turn
direction.
and walk the other way.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you guys give the tree a wide berth?
Yeah.
Correct.
Can I can I tell from a distance whether like this is naturally occurring or if it's man-made?
From a distance, I'd say no.
Okay. There's no way I'm going closer to it. If something's off, Trent's hiding.
Oh, there
Can
are
I
many
roll
dang-
stealth?
You can, yeah.
I would like to hide behind my my more heavily armored friends.
Roll stealth.
That's a 4.
Okay. You
Nice.
find that standing behind Tessa, you're able to put a little bit of space between you and the tree.
Alright, team on it. Just keep going.
As we
When-
walk, I
Using
would like
me-
to whisper to Zenkus behind me. I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish what you guys were saying.
Oh, so are you really using me as cover?
Shh. They'll hear you.
When Zencast talks to us in our head, is it like message where we respond back, or it's a one-way?
It's one way.
One way. Then I'll say, good looking out. Keep it up. We'll stay quiet and listen for things again.
Please trust your instincts.
You guys wander.
Rex beasts.
You guys wander around the tree, and as you do, you see something strange. On the other side, right around here, as you guys are kind of passing, you note that between two of the roots that gnarl off into the dirt, there is an extended hand that reaches up, almost like the hand of a zombie trying to leap from its grave, but it's caught between the two roots that kind of gnarl around it. The hand is motionless, but it looks affixed in a sort of like rigor mortis agony-like position.
Interesting.
Does it still have skin on it?
The hand still has skin on it, yes. And you can see clothing on its arm as well.
Look,
That is
write a
crazy.
description of that and also draw a crude picture. Thank you.
The book frantically
Yes.
starts to scribble.
Is that one of your guides?
Would I be able to tell if it's bloody or not from here?
Ah. Looking from
Do I
over
see-
here, you see no evidence of blood. And from just the hand, it's impossible to tell if it's your guides, though it's unmistakably human, and your guides certainly were human.
Man-eating trees, huh?
Well, that could
I think
definitely
it's a
be good.
Hyprex beast player.
Whatever it is,
Probably
it's
dragged
not
him down
something
into the roots.
we want to be around.
Nope.
I'm gonna look everywhere besides that tree for other trees like it.
Are there any other gnarl trees? Like it?
Yeah, that's what that was just.
I'd like a group perception check, please.
Like, are we right next to one over here?
Wow, I've rolled 2 3s and a 4 tonight.
Looking around, this tree seems to be the only one which is all gnarled like that. Except for you, Zenkas. You notice that off in the distance, nowhere near to your group, probably about 60 feet in the opposite direction, is another one of these rather strange and gnarled trees, unlike the rest.
I simply just say, I just like point in the direction of it and I say, there's another one.
Swiftly now. Let's get out of
I'm
wherever we
gonna-
are.
I'm
And I
gonna move
just-
closer to Zencast because he seems to have the eyes that see everything. So
And
I'm gonna abandon my cover of T-Money and take cover behind Zencast.
Well, no leaning on trees, but yes, let's hurry along, like Merton is suggesting.
Look for trees such as that or anything else strange. Be quick.
You guys go running
Scary.
off and quickly go to leave this area. Now, let's see here. Yes. Your group takes about 3 days to get back into Hillcrest. And the travel there is very quick, and the weather seems to kind of clear up remarkably during that time, and no creatures attack you. You also see what looks like remnants of camps here and there in the forest. There's nothing of any value at them, but it's clear that others have been here and there, and you're able to kind of use their tracks and trails to get by and find like a fast path through the woods. Before long, you come up towards the outskirts of the city and have made it back to Hillcrest. It's the morning of this day.
Can I roll my divination?
You certainly can.
Good eyes, Zenkus. May have saved us back then.
What did you get for your rolls?
A 14 and a 9. Pretty shit.
14 could be good.
Yeah. It's like an attack hit.
Before we go back, we have had a talk about what we're saying to Cal. If not, this should be the time.
Sure. You guys are on the road, and off in the distance, you can see through the middling trees here and there that the wide sprawl of buildings go emanating out in every direction from the huge walls of Hillcrest. This, off in the distance prompts you to kind of talk about what you're going to actually do and say when you get back to civilization.
I'm going to tell Cal that what we did originally, I'll tell him the truth, that we found her.
Ooh,
We
thanks,
let her
Claw.
go. And that she went home. Does he know? This is out of game. Does Cal know if we're great souls?
Oh. I would say that that's up to you guys. If you would have told him or not, given that you've been staying there for some time, I'd say
It
chances...
probably would have came up.
Yeah, chances are he knows. And
Yeah,
he's
okay.
just been keeping it on the down low.
Okay, so we'll tell him the truth up to that point, and that we skipped our boat didn't come back. We'll just tell him we walked through the forest, and I feel bad, so this might be where we get in trouble, but it'll probably be okay. I'm going to give him the dagger back and say we found them in the forest back, and we just found their bodies. High Priest
Maybe you
Beast
could
got
tell him
them.
it was in the roots of the tree, like the one we saw.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they said themselves that they didn't even bring enough numbers, so it's believable that they got outnumbered.
Paladin Merton, I will accompany you to go speak with Cal, but I recommend that we leave some of our
We're back really fast.
I
more
want you to go
expressive
alone.
companions.
Yeah, do you think that'll be okay if you come? Can you contain yourself?
I'm pretty hard to read, as you can tell by my stoic features.
Me and you, I think, would be a good call.
But I look over towards Trent as I say this.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't-
our expressive companion may
Yeah.
want to stay clear of Cal for the time being.
I'm right. I don't want him there, and I'm also bringing it up because I don't know if we want to stay there.
I'm out of alcohol, guys.
Nope. You're not talking to Cal about this, Trent.
I'll collect your baggage from your room if you're okay with it.
Sorry, I'm back.
Can you get my just get some like stuff for me to make more liquor?
Well, this
while
is
you're
what
there?
I'm saying. This is why I need to talk, because we are going to be in town for a little while. If we don't stay there, it could be suspicious, is all I'm saying.
Well, we only
We need
need to stay in town long enough to Oh wait, we have a mission.
We have a mission, yes.
Hmm.
And it would be also strange if we fled town right after getting back.
Well,
So-
maybe we'll have the conversation with Cal on the side, and
We should have it alone. We should say everyone else is elsewhere. And then you guys can come in later. And you don't have to say anything. You can just give him like a solemn nod, like you know what's happened. And that'll be that, hopefully.
All right.
Don't bring it up. Don't say anything. Another thing for talking to Cal was, were they like romantically involved, him and Benevolence, or how close were they? I feel like they were pretty close.
You guys don't know exactly how close they are. You never saw them, like kissing in the bar or anything, but they were clearly very good friends.
Okay.
while we straighten things out, perhaps the three of you could find out more information about Trent's castle.
Yeah, why don't you guys
Before
look into the
something
mission?
like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at making friends. Maybe I can just go meet someone who knows him.
You have his address, don't you?
Yep. I know how to find him.
Try not to bring too much attention to him. Asking questions around town and then he mysteriously disappearing may cause other concerns.
Oh, somebody should go look for
The key to the locked room.
yeah, that family. The
Merkunzens.
Merkunzens, thank you.
Perhaps you could do that first, and then we can look into the castle endeavor together, since one is a little bit more risky than the other.
Okay.
I'll
stick
hand the
with Trent.
plate over to Trent from my backpack, the Mercoons and insignia.
Off to Raccoonson Manor. Did the book get that? That should be the chapter title for this chapter.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
And I'll head off. Come on, Zenkus, you come with us. We're gonna go make friends.
He's going to make friends.
I think Zenkus has a stroke in the distance.
No, he's moving. I see his hand as he's following you along.
I'm following him, especially since what the whispering one said.
So you three travel along, and the group splits. Now, you know that the Mercoonsons are a noble family, and they are inside the main walls. You can go there to try and get in, but obviously the gate is very, very strict. Now, the other two are headed over towards the bar, and I'd say you guys probably get there much before the others reach the gate. So we'll do your bit first. I would like one of you, either Merton or Zakul, to make a luck roll, please.
I thought you already rolled the earlier one.
Yep. 8. Oh, it's one better than yours. 8.
Stepping over towards the tavern, it's much like how you remember it. The outside is it's a kind of plain thing here, where there's a couple of horses sort of attached over on the side from weary travelers and whatnot, and you can see through one of the windows that there's a group of people eating over in the corner at one of the large tables. But the rest of the tavern is pretty empty, which makes sense given how early in the morning it is. Are you guys headed in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Passing through the door, you guys look around, and Cal addresses you immediately, calling out from behind the bar. And he shouts and says, "Oh, you've all finally made it back."
Does he look excited?
He seems to be in good spirits.
Okay. How busy is the bar?
There's nobody at the bar. It's just a table over in the corner, and they seem to have food all over the place. They turn for a moment, seeing, new people enter the room, and then just go back to their food.
I would have put my best, serious shit face on, coming in, so that when I look at him, maybe he gets ready for the news. But, and I'll just look right at him and, walk over.
What's with the long face, Merton?
Cal, we need to have a word. Would you like to do it here or somewhere else?
Oh, well, give me a moment. He steps away from the bar and goes over to the table, and you watch as he kind of, leans on one of the chairs there and asks if everybody's food's okay and if they need anything, and they seem to be doing okay. He brings them some more water and then eventually comes back and seats you guys on the edge of the bar, which is furthest from that table. He kind of whispers to you all, and he says, "You guys are being awfully serious. Is something wrong? What's going on?"
I'll pat the chair next to me, come take a seat.
No, I'm okay. I'll stay here. More of a standing guy myself.
Well, we don't know how long it's been since we've been gone. As you know, I'll point to the back of my neck or whatever.
He pauses for a second, and you can see he kind of looks off into the distance, and when he turns back, he tells you that it is the 32nd. Or sorry. No, 33rd.
When was it when we left? I don't remember.
It's been, 2 weeks at least? Or 13 days at
10
least?
A few more than a 10-day? Okay. Well, okay. So we got there to the ruins, and we found Benevolence. I think she came back home, right?
She did. I have your reward just behind the bar if you want to grab it.
I'll like cut him off where he's finished, and I'll say, well, she left us and ran back home, and before we could catch up to her, we skipped. The Great Soul thing happened, and funnily enough, she was right there when we woke up again. She had come back, and then on our way home, that's when it happened. I'll like put her dagger on the table. Those beasts in the jungle. They swarmed us.
He kind of reaches forward and, holds the dagger for a second and kind of just paws over it.
I'm so sorry. And I'll put a hand on his shoulder, around him, wherever he is to me. And I'll just stay there in silence with him as long as he wants.
Damn. I'm sorry, I didn't expect this.
I know. I'm more sorry, believe me.
Able to find anything else? You know what? You don't have to tell me, actually.
Right now, it's probably not the best, but I'll be here for you if you need.
Do you two mind if I keep this?
Oh, it's yours, and keep the money and keep the deal. We don't want it. That would be horrible. We're just really sorry.
Losing a friend is very tough. I am sorry for your loss, Patron Cowl.
We lost Nitch as well. They dragged them away. We couldn't find them in that strange forest. The dagger fell out of her hands. I'm sorry.
He kind of puts a hand over his mouth and he nods in response, but he doesn't say anything. Well, that's what happens when you live the adventuring life, right?
That is how the dice fall sometimes. On a brighter note, we did manage to return with the young Trent, and he is still in good health.
The rest of you are safe?
Yes, currently resupplying in town.
Besides Nitch and
Right.
the party she came back with, and her, it's just terrible. Such shit.
Feel responsible. I mean, I sent you out on that after all.
I'll just cut him off. No, shake my head. Don't.
No, I should have never. I mean, you guys are good people. I shouldn't.
If this damn curse didn't exist, we could have just went off back on the boat. It's just fucking fate, We've been thinking about, how this is going to go ever since it happened. Just dreading it. Just wish they would have, taken me instead. Fucking hell.
Do you boys want a drink? I think I wouldn't mind a drink right now.
I could share a drink with you, Patron.
I think so, yes.
He turns and grabs from behind the bar a few tankards and fills them from a barrel. And he hands them over to you. Kind of just holds the thing there and he says,
To benevolence.
and Nitch. They'll be missed. He
No doubt.
clinks the glass there, starts to pound the thing back, and goes through about half of the tankard before setting it back down. Well, he kind of shakes his head. If If there's no hard feelings, then I don't hold you responsible for it either. It's bad to have things go this way, but you can't do anything about it.
I don't think I'd blame you if you did hold us responsible. I mean, it never feels bad. Feels good being the one to come home.
Well, you know what? I don't want to be paid. I understand, but you always have a place here in my tavern. If ever you need, don't worry about it.
About that, we will have to. Our party will have to remain here for a few days while we resupply.
It's
we head
the
on.
least I can do, so cool. That's perfectly fine.
And we'll be here for you. I don't know how close you two were, but you were certainly good friends, and I think you need friends in a time like this.
Well, most of you are still around, so that's good. I still have some family in Hillcrest, so don't worry too much about me. I'll be fine. It's just,
Well,
whenever somebody
speaking of
goes
them-
out that door, you tell yourself they might not be back, right? Especially people in that line of work, but never really get used to it, getting that news.
Speaking of family or connections, did Benevolence have any she left that she has survived by?
No. She was kind of an orphan girl, really. Not much for family. Folks didn't want her. Not with the, well, And he kind of makes like a gesture, like horns poking out of his head.
Hmm.
But, smart one. Nice. Funny with a couple of drinks in her. It's just too bad. It's too
Didn't
bad.
deserve it.
Well, if you boys need anything else, I'm here for you. And I hope Trent and Tessa, are they taking things okay?
Trent took the
Trent took it
deaths
harder.
a little harder.
He took it hardest, I think.
Cal nods. Says, yeah, he's still kind of new to this sort of thing. You guys be careful with him. I worry that he's the kind of person to get into more trouble than he knows.
We've definitely had some, second thoughts about everything past few days. But
Well, what are you gonna do now that you're back in town?
still deciding. Don't know.
Rest, cool our heels for a bit.
Try to recover for now. We'll be around, definitely.
We do have a new companion who will be staying with us.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. If he's with you guys, like I said, the rooms are yours. If you need some food, I'm happy to help.
Funny how life gives you a friend right when you lose one. I hope you're fortunate to want as enough to have someone else come into your life like Benevolence. Not that you'll ever forget her. I know I never will.
He nods for a moment and finishes the rest of his beer and kind of puts the glass down. And he stares at it and he says, "Yep. Well, best not to get too far into the drink. I've seen that
Yeah.
go wrong too many times."
Kind of stand up and kind of shake my head, get the thoughts out of my head. We'll see you later today, okay, Cal? Hang in there.
Sure, I'll see you later.
Give him a nod.
I'll give Kel a nod as well. I'll see you later tonight then.
He waves you goodbye, and as you guys finish your drinks, are you headed out the door?
Yep.
Okay.
Need to tell my party what the actual story was, because I got into the actual story, and I was like, oh shit, that wasn't the lie I was gonna tell, and then I had to change it.
I know. I realized that part way. I was like, "Oh, Will thinks this," and now he's realizing this.
Because I said one thing, I said she came back and we saw her, and I was like, wait, I went one line too far with the truth story.
Yep.
Oh shit! Can't go back on that.
I like kind of wanted to say something in the beginning. I was like, no, that's just gonna cause confusion.
Yeah, if I went back on it, that would have been.
I just stay quiet.
Went, and it worked out.
Okay.
Oh, but actually, where we're gonna go, I think I'll take Sakul to my fence or whatever.
Ah.
Is that what,
Okay,
yeah.
so you guys head over towards
yeah.
that.
Go back to the other guys though. We just had a big time.
Now, meanwhile, the three of you are wandering through the city, and you pass by incredibly busy and vibrant areas of the city until eventually getting on what looks to be like the main highway road there that goes right up towards the massive gates. Now,
One thing, before we get to the main road, could I have stopped in like an alleyway or an outhouse or something and done like a quick once over with, hopefully with T Money's help of like cleaning up my my fine clothes with prestidigitation and stuff,
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so also pressure.
making sure that they're not like wrinkled and stuff from being in my backpack
Okay.
Do I have mending?
and putting them on.
So, you guys kind of step away into an area where people aren't watching, and Trent, you kind of get changed and put on like a nice suit and everything. With prestidigitation, Tessa, kind of fixes up a bit of your hair there and makes sure that the clothes aren't ruffled or damaged. And now you look like a proper, respectable noble.
All right. Real quick before we go in, T Money and Zenkus, when we get up there, I'm going to be telling them that we're a group of merchants traveling under my family name. I am Trent of House Goldenbrow, and we're here to gather supplies to craft my family's brew. And I don't think they'll get too in depth once I show my degree. But if they have any questions, then just tell them that the Merkunzen family has received a shipment for us of crafting supplies, of brewer supplies, and that's where we're headed.
All right.
Okay. All fixed up, you guys wander over towards the gate. Now, there is a definite lineup at the gate, and you can see what looks like caravans, groups of, a couple people, some that look quite wealthy, some not so much. They're already getting in line on one side of the road here, headed up towards the gate. And you watch as a large number of them, repeatedly are just turned away. And you can't hear their conversation with the guard as it's way down the road, but they're just, they're sent in the opposite direction and have to wander off into the city. Every now and then, however, the gates will open. They're incredibly large, and you can see that they open into an area where there's just another gate, and then that closes. And when it opens again, those people are no longer there. Are you guys going to wait in line till you get up there?
Do the people waiting in line here seem like nobles or just wealthy?
Mixes. There's everything from poor people to merchants to nobility in their nice carriages, the whole bit.
Okay. We'll wait in line then.
Okay. The wait in line takes a little while, and eventually you get up towards the front here as people are turned away or accepted with reasonable speed. And when you get up to the front, there's a contingent of guard that are standing there. And the guards are wearing like the standard robes of the regular city guard. And amongst them, you can see other figures that look to be officials wearing like robes and having different books and things like that. And they kind of crowd around your group as you come up, and one of them speaks to you, and he says, Right then. Reason for entering Hillcrest.
I'll pull my scroll of pedigree out and say, I have an appointment with the Merkunzen family. If he's gonna try and examine my my scroll, can I use one of my portent rolls on it? Or did you already roll?
Oh, I did roll. And I rolled a 19 for him to investigate. Do you want to replace it?
Yeah, I was gonna give him a 9 to on his investigation.
Okay.
Is this for the thing I did, or is this something else?
Yeah, this is for the convincing one that you fixed.
Okay.
He
But
takes,
I still would rather not take a chance.
he takes the clever forgery and gives it a look. Unfurling the scroll, he examines it from top to bottom, his eyes scanning diligently from one line to the next, his fingers pawing over other portions, running his thumb along the wax. He turns the thing over, turns it back, and then suddenly blinks and curses as he turns to the side. Fuck! And you watch as something gets in his eye, like a bit of dust or something, and he kind of rubs the dust out of his eye and then turns back and he says, "All right, Merkunzen family," he said.
Yes, sir.
He just hands back the scroll. Very well. Step on through. And he turns around and makes a hand gesture, like holding a few fingers in the air and swirling them about, and the gate begins to open.
I'll walk forward with my party.
Okay. Now, this area that you step into is like a massive sort of double chamber, almost. It's kind of like that in size. With the main gate back here, and then the next one over here. And you guys are sort of shuffled in. And when you get into here, the gates behind you begin to close. Now, this room is not entirely empty. If you look straight up, you can see that it's covered, and there's a sort of roof over top of you that doesn't allow you to see. There are torches that provide ample light that kind of line the area. And the next gate is distinctly magical and has sort of shimmerings that kind of run along its surface here and there. There are side doors here. And from these side doors, you see a couple of figures step out. Let's see here.
God, I'm glad I'm not there.
It's also worth noting that the upper portions of the wall here on either side are filled with little, like, it's not a portcullis, what's it called? God damn. Murder holes, like they're these small little slits, basically, that archers can peer down through, and you can see people moving in between them. And there must be, like, dozens of bows trained on your group right now.
Jesus.
The two people that approach are similar to those outside. One is clearly an official who has a book in his hand, and the other one seems to be a warrior of some kind. He wears a set of heavy plate mail and has on his person a glaive that he holds in one hand and a large Hillcrest tabard that kind of goes over the armor. And as he steps up, he calls out to you all and says, "Reason for entering?"
My name is Trent of House Goldenbrow, and I have a meeting with the Merkunzen family.
Give me a moment. I need you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Oh,
Shit.
baby, you should have let me talk.
I am going to take my 14, which makes this a
Oh, they cast Zone of Truth, you son.
makes this a 16
Okay.
saving throw.
Why would they just randomly have zone of truth on? Crazy.
It's always on.
Look, they got a fucking look at this room. It's like heavy duty shit.
It is, but
The man turns and goes to face the notary here, and he whispers something to him. And they talk privately amongst themselves, standing over here for a moment after just like a simple, excuse us. And they're talking. What are you guys doing over here?
Shitting your pants.
Shitting your pants is a free action.
I am carefully watching everyone in the room and watching the person questioning Trent.
I would be placing my scroll of pedigree back in my backpack and taking out the plate that I have.
Ah, okay.
And not like unwrapping it or anything, because I'm assuming I wrapped it in some sort of cloth or something. But I'm just gonna like take it out and hold it in my hands as I like wait for them to finish.
This man
I'm
approaches.
doing my best sort of like noble stare, like looking over at them. You know, like what is the hold up kind of look? Like
Like the "Can I speak to your manager?" look.
head tilted
Yeah.
slightly back in a condescending way.
Mm-hmm. The armored man steps towards you. The other one buries his head into his book and continues to write something. As the armored man comes up, he turns and he says, "And you, who are you?" And he points over in your direction, Tessa.
Oh, I am I should follow my friend Trent here, and I'm also someone who loves the. I'm trying to find the word. Hold on. A reporter of some sorts.
Oh, a
these
journalist?
are my accompaniment, my protection, and I point to the Zenkus and
frail ass girl following around protection.
no, I point to Zenkus and my. Let's call her.
Person who writes down everything for a noble person.
Yeah, what's that called? I can't think of the
Yeah,
word.
Stenographer?
I can't think.
A scribe.
Yeah, a stenographer, a scribe. Thank you.
I got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stenographer or scribe. Yeah.
He turns over and faces you this time, Zenkus. He says, "What are you doing here? What business do you have inside of Hillcrest?"
I accompany Trent wherever he goes. He's kind of my master. Like, while I'm saying this, I'm trying to like not. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm like his servant.
Has he told you what it is that he's doing in the city?
I don't question my master. Whatever he wants to do is what he does, and I have to follow what he says.
I'd like to remind you three that non-cooperation will easily have you turned away. If you do have appointments in the city, you're likely going to miss them if you do not work with me.
Do you know the Merkunsen family?
He just ignores your question, and he turns over towards you, Tessa. He says, "Are you aware of what it is that this man you're protecting intends to do in Hillcrest?"
I mean, he tells me what to do and I follow. I owe his family a great debt.
What was the last bit you said?
I said I owe his family a great debt.
Ah. I'd like you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Fuck! What is that? It's an 18 plus 4, 22. Oh, baby.
Excuse me a moment. He turns and goes back to the official. They begin whispering again. He continues to write.
making their saves, God damn it, official.
Are you guys talking about anything over there?
Nope, because it looks suspicious.
I'll if they like spend like an odd amount of time over there, like multiple minutes, I'll say something. But if they're just
Okay.
talking for a few seconds, I'll leave it alone.
So it doesn't quite get to that point, because after about a minute, another one of the doors opens up, and you watch as another official steps out and joins their
God.
conversation.
Oh my
And they
god.
start whispering some more.
Another official?
Yeah. He pops out of the door and they start chatting.
How
Why
bad
are
do you
they
guys
going?
want to be out of that room right now?
So bad.
When the other official comes in, I'll pipe up. If
Sure.
that's okay.
What do you say?
Listen, if it's trouble for you to let us in, we are outsiders after all. I'll allow you to take what I have for the family, and we can go our own way. Back out. I just ask that if you do take it to them, you ask them to speak with me at some point. And I'll kind of unwrap the dish and like hold it up so that they can see the family crest on it.
The group begins to talk again, until eventually the armored man approaches. He says, "Very well. Write a note for them, and we'll deliver this to them."
All right, I'll pull out a sheet of paper. Basically, my note will just be like, I am Trent of House Goldenbrow. During my adventuring, I came across this plate. I recognized it as your family symbol. And unfortunately, the guards at the gate would not let me through to meet with you in person. I would have liked to have delivered this to you, as the place of its discovery was quite important to me and to your family at one point. If you would like to, please send word to, and I'll enter the name of our whatever tavern we're staying at. I can't remember it.
Sure.
That you would like to meet with me, and I will do my best to accompany, or to accommodate you in whatever sort of meeting you would like to have.
Okay. I would say PM that to me, if you can, at some point.
Sure.
But he takes this note and nods to you, and he hands it off to one of the officials that disappear into the door, and then he simply kind of like makes a hand gesture, and soon the front gates open again, the ones that you have just passed through, and you're kind of ejected back out into the city.
That was terrifying, guys. Oh boy, this place is scary.
Wasn't that bad, Trent?
Did you see those people that wanted to kill us?
Player K is sweating
Trent,
bullets.
A lot of
but
places
That's just cool.
want to kill us. Or anyone.
Let's
Hey,
let's
can
go
you guys
try and
clear
find...
the road, please?
Yeah.
Oh, I assumed we were like walking off, as I was saying.
Yeah, you guys are stepping out, and as you do so, you're talking there in the road, and you realize that the line has like backed up considerably, and like a set of 2 guards immediately come up to you and just like shoo you off to the side, like, "All right, please move aside." Now, you guys are kind of shoved off there, and before we return back towards a talk with the fence, we're going to go to a brief 5-10 minute break.
Yes, please. Oh, we're back.
Hey, Lucian. I did send you a message on Discord about it, but your stream is saying Dota 2 still.
Why, thank you. I will change that soon.
All right. I'm gonna mute.
Alright, we'll see you guys back in a few. I'm gonna change that motherfucker.
I thought you guys were about to get fucking.
Hey man, if I failed to
Take it
quick
out.
save on a bard, I'd be
I don't
so
think they
sad.
would have died. It might have been like imprisoned or something.
Yeah.
But, like, where the hell did they go?
Telling the truth. We're
Captured
here
and
because we're
interrogated.
members of a death cult that wanna.
Imagine if the guy we need to kill isn't there. What's your purpose here? We're here to kill him.
We're here to kill somebody.
Hopefully that's not the type of security we're expecting at the other place. We need to scout it out a bit.
No, he lives outside though.
Yeah, Jesus,
There's
I'm
a
so glad I didn't go
There
there.
you go.
I was like, yeah, let's go to the less dangerous one first since we're splitting up. You guys are like, surrounded. Murder holes all over the place. There's heavily armored guards. You can kind of make out the tip of an arrow pointing at you through the murder hole. The six
thinking-
archers have trained bows on you.
Does anyone know the name of our bar we're staying at?
Yeah, I typed it. It's Ursa's Tavern. Maybe Cal's the tavern keeper.
Ursa's Tavern. Thank you.
I was thinking, just like as we were leaving, like making sounds in the guards' heads, like fart sounds or something. But I was like, I don't want to risk this.
Jesus. Be a good way to upset someone.
But they wouldn't know where it's coming from. They're just hearing it in their head.
Oh. They might know. They said that room was pretty magical. Oh, I guess I don't know if what you're doing is magic then.
I don't know. It's just racial, so I don't know what's considered.
Alright. I fixed that thing that you mentioned, Z, so it now properly says Dungeons and Dragons. Let's see. Okay, sweet. Alright, I gotta run over. I'll be back in a few.
Yeah, I'm switching you guys to speakers because I have to go clean up a bit.
We have like a good, 5-10 minutes here?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you guys want to hear the message that I'm writing?
Sure.
Okay, this is what I have so far. Let me know if you think I'm forgetting anything. Because obviously I'm not a noble. But I think I did a pretty good job with it. To whom it may concern in the Merkunzen family. My name is Trent of House Goldenbrow. I know I may be unknown to you, but your family is familiar to me, as I have spent some time in the outskirts of Hillcrest. During my adventuring, my party came across an old relic of your family, and I thought you might appreciate its safe return. If it so pleases you, I would enjoy meeting with you or a representative of your family sometime. The building the plate was discovered in is a place of particular interest to me, and at one point in time it was very important to your family as well. If this note catches your interest, please send your correspondence to the place known as Ursus Tavern in the next few days, as that is where my party will be during our time here. We are on important business, however, so we may not be here for very long. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope that this gift finds your family in strength and good health. Sincerely, Trent of House Goldenbrow.
Sounds good to me. Sounds pretty good.
Hey Jimmy,
Yeah.
see that message I sent you on Discord?
I did now. I wish that I could watch some bit ads, but I can't.
Alright, I am back. Just having a quick bite and then we'll start back up.
I'm running upstairs for like a minute.
Okay, sorry, I'm back.
All good. We'll start up in a few here.
Alright, awesome.
I'd like to mention that that was a very narrow escape there, Jimmy.
Oh, wait, what was the oh, do you like just get the DC? Or did you fail? Oh, Jimmy, you failed, didn't you? God damn it, Jimmy.
I have
I
no
think-
idea.
I think it was probably like Illusion's like, I'm gonna just keep them here and keep doing checks until they decide
Murder.
maybe we should leave.
I mean, in Trent's mind,
Terrified.
I was lying about having a meeting, but I figured I would need to have a meeting to get through.
I guess we've already played the part of being the slaves to the noblemen, so just went along.
You're not really a slave if you're a scribe or a bard for him, though.
Oh, I know,
You're
but
higher
I wanted to seem like that, so he'd be more noble, like more, I guess, respectful for having people under him.
Zenkis straight played the butler role there. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, he kind of is now. Everything he said was true, which is why he didn't have to make a save. Or at least it's true in his mind. I'm glad that they took that offer to just deliver it, because the the important thing is just that they see that. I don't think we're planning on like doing anything bad to their family.
No.
So
We're not. The important thing is getting information about a key or a way to unlock this door, passcode for it, right? We
I don't know
tried
if I believe that at all from you guys, the way that the benevolence thing went down.
yeah, but
I don't think it matters what you
Asperis-
think when it comes down to it.
Asperis told us that they were at one point like great followers, and so we should not, fuck with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just
He
I
also
remember
said if they get in the way, just do it.
The benevolence thing was because I'm gonna be honest here. As a GM, you asked us if she wants to join. No, I prodded her. I was like, "Would you be willing to join and doing these things that might not be, it might be deplorable to some people?" And she was like, "Hell no, no, you guys are crazy." And I was like, "All right, well, now you gotta die. I'm sorry."
what a flaming train wreck that was.
It was great. We had bodies.
thought
of
it was great.
sacrifice.
That was good because we also progressed the altar thing, right? Because it could, we got a lot more information from that.
And we got to see Will be a complete psychopath.
Where's
I've
that
seen that
sociopath?
multiple times now.
Sociopath. Yeah.
To spare the dying is clutch for that fight.
It's gotta be at least
Lay down,
psycho
crits.
once a session.
Knocks the guy. He is now laying down. Oh, okay, good.
Tessa, could you, yeah, sure. Educated!
So I'm looking at that new cleric order. At second level, they get a charm person of range 30 with no limit on how many creatures.
Wait, what's it called again?
The order cleric or whatever.
Yeah, the order domain.
Oh, wizards, you and your UAs.
Starting at second level, you can use your channel divinity to exert an intimidating presence over others. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each creature of your choice that can see or hear you within 30 feet of you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed until the end of your next turn.
Sweet.
It's not that long, but it's, a charm person with no limit is pretty...
Was it Jason or Mike playing a Paladin of the Crown on the other night? He has unlimited compelled duel, AoE compelled duel.
That's
Like everybody around them can now leave his presence once he activates.
Your
it.
compelled duel on benevolence was clutch.
That was great.
But that's only a
Yeah.
level 1 single target thing. Like he has the I can do it to everyone around me ability as Crown.
And then die.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. It might, might end up being a bit OP or whatever. Who knows? That group is really off the rails. Like, they recently spent a day on, like, a cruise liner just gambling away and stuff.
What the heck?
Yeah, that was basically Wednesday's most recent session. It's like, Jason got a hold of, like, some winnings from a game of, what was it? Fuck, I can't remember the name. But
This
anyway,
reminds me of Lost Castle. We're hitting the slot machine.
Oh,
for like
yes.
5 minutes. Anyways, go ahead.
yeah, he got, like, an early win, and then he was like, this is awesome, and just, like, gambled his way up into, like, a bonus of 100 gold, and then over the course of the rest of the cruise, just lost all of it. The party's just, like, completely broke, steps off of the boat. We officially named them Welfare Wednesday, and that's it. Okay, good, I got that. Alright, are we, good to go?
We can be Murder She Wrote Mondays.
A bit long, but not bad.
That's so perfect.
It's Murder
Murder She
Monday.
Wrote, because Kay has got the book.
Oh god.
Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. Welcome back, guys. So we're gonna cut over to our buddies Zakul and Merton. You've been wandering through the streets after having had that talk with Cal. Do you guys talk about anything before getting over there?
Well, that went better than I expected.
I'll like give like a little sigh once we're further out and be like, "Phew. Yeah.
Now, are we meeting up with our group outside the raccoons in the state?
Well, I mean, that only took like 15 minutes. They're gonna be gone for a while, right?
Well, possibly. Do
And
you have something else in mind?
well, there's a reason I wanted to get back to town quickly.
I raise a very scaly eyebrow in his direction.
If we're gonna be a party doing this kind of stuff, you may as well see it, right? Come on, you'll see.
Follow along with a quizzical expression on my face.
Making it into town, Merton, you gradually lead Zakul down a couple of smaller streets until eventually actually going into an alleyway, finding yourself at the back of a building where a small little derelict staircase goes up to a balcony. You guys are soon on the doorstep of some sort of abode. Do you knock?
Is there like a special knock?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll knock.
After a couple of taps on the door, there's some shuffling of feet, and the door opens, and you guys see what looks like a man wearing a set of leather armor and robes, and a heavy cowl over his face with a bandana, hiding very, very little of his, very, very much of his appearance. His eyes kind of narrow as he looks at the both of you. And
Is it the same guy?
yeah, it's definitely the same guy. He looks at you, Merton, and he goes, who's this?
Acquaintance. May we come in?
Kind of acquaintance. He's looking at you right now through the sliver of the door, and it's like when you have a million of those chain locks or whatever that go from the door, like keeping it from fully opening. You know, and he's like staring at the two of you.
Trustworthy. Party
Realizing that he's gauging me, I'll say the type that can keep his mouth shut.
It's for me.
Figured you should see the type of people I'm working with. I brought, I think, the one you'll like the most first.
Trent goes running down the road with a bunch of hydrogen balloons in his hands. Helium, sorry. Like a kazoo in his mouth.
Yeah, don't bring Trent to this guy.
Party!
Cast grease on a bunch of random commoners. The door opens after a bunch of chains are moved out of the way, and he beckons for the two of you to step inside. It's a basic living room with a little couch there and a table. And he closes the door after you guys are in. He says, oh yeah, this guy knows your name, right?
Probably knows me as Merton, like everyone does.
Okay. He turns to you and says, damn it, Merton. You're a little bit late, don't you think?
Yeah. Hey, that's what happens this kind of life. Hopefully not too late.
I hope you're not sour. The job went to somebody else.
I was hoping to have it.
Well, it's fucking done with now. What do you need? Buying something? Selling?
Well, I came to see about the job, to be honest.
Damn.
I was hoping to trade a job for some information. Information that I might not be able to pay for.
Well, how about you two
Kind of
sit on the
expensive.
couch, if it's gonna be that kind of meeting?
Could be short or long. Depends if we can make a deal. I'll sit down.
I whispered to Merton,
Mm-hmm.
would this man have information about our current job? Is that what we're here to get? Or what we could get, I should say, since obviously you just told me Or told him that we were here for the other job.
Well, you're free to ask him, Zakul, and I'll like speak up so that he knows we're not like keeping secrets. But information has a price, so unless that's something you really want to know, I suggest you ask the right questions.
Well, can this man be trusted to not have loose lips among Hillcrest?
Of course he can't, and that's why I'm here to see him.
Well, I turned to
You
the
two
man.
done whispering over there?
No.
I said I wasn't whispering. I made that.
I said that out loud
Oh, okay.
as I was looking at him.
I wanted him to hear the "of course he can't be trusted" thing. 'Cause that would be funny. He buys and sells information. That's what he does.
What do you guys want to know?
Is there anyone who has a grudge or something against Castle Morgan's estate or him?
Castle Morgan. Yeah. I, for one, not really fond of the guy.
I
Wanna know
look
more
over
than
to
that,
Merton with an eyebrow raised.
I'll put my hands up like that's not what I was here to ask. So
Okay.
it's all you, Zakul.
All right. Well,
What else do you want to know, Dragon? Before we go any further.
Yeah, you better get your pocket ready if you're going to ask these questions.
Yeah, he looks down, like in unison with Merton mentioning
I'm
that, like towards your
I'm
toy
like
purse.
telling him, trying to make him learn the ropes. Like, I'm not asking questions because I don't want to pay for this. If you want to know,
can I make some sort of roll to see how much would be appropriate to tip the guy? Just
Yeah, make an
cursory
insight
question?
check. Now, this is obviously a round that you're not super familiar with, but if you get high enough... Is that a 15 or 14?
That is
Or a
a
13.
16.
Okay. You think that a couple of gold to start would probably be appropriate, unless you're going to open with something big, in which case, he might ask for more, or might be offended by just a couple of gold. So you'll have to
Sure.
play it carefully like that.
Let's pull out 3 gold pieces to begin with. Says we may have something to do with Castle Morgan around Hillcrest, and if anyone has a grudge against him or holds deep-rooted problems with him or his estate, then I would like to meet that. Possibly we could arrange for a different job, and you could be our middleman.
He takes
passed
the
3
coins
gold
off the
pieces.
table, pockets them. Oh, might be able to arrange something. What do you guys know about Castle Morgan?
At the moment, his name.
Castle's an old guard captain. He's served as a squad commander in the army for a few years. Retired working for the City Watch. Mostly does paperwork these days. But that doesn't mean a lot of us types don't have old grudges with the guy. I've seen a lot of people end up behind bars or worse on the chopping block because of Castle Morgan. Mr. Morgan lives in a pretty nice house nearby. He's no rube, he's no fool. He keeps people around, watching the streets.
I'm kind of making it clear that like I'm not in this conversation. I'm like writing a note to myself and just like watching Zakul, and when it's time for him to like give more money, I'll like give him a nod, and I'm kind of like enjoying it, but I'm doing like my own thing for now.
So
Oh, okay.
I'll wait for Merton's signal if you think I need to give another tip. But ask another question. If have there been attempts made on his life recently?
Recently? No, I don't think so. Nothing big. Like I said, the guy's been kind of a paper pusher for the last while. There were definitely more problems surrounding him back when he was active on the street. Nowadays, there's the occasional thing. Nothing that I can remember right now.
So his guards may be a little bit more relaxed than before.
He turns over towards you, Merton, and he says,
When he said can't remember right now, that'd be a time I would like wink or something.
he turns to you and he says, Dragon friend here is a natural.
I think so.
Where you come from, Dragonborn?
From Windray, the floating ship in the sky.
Familiar. Strange.
He's a cool. Careful. Don't answer too many questions for free now. Now, to why I'm here, it's kind of information that, like I said, probably can't afford right now, but you did ask me something last time I was here, and that's what I was writing down. And I'll, put the piece of paper on the table, and what's on it is, Trent's actual name and house, because he asked about Trent before. And what I'm asking him is, have the Weavers been around?
I'd like you to make a luck roll, please.
A 2.
God damn it, Will. Your luck roll.
He pauses, and he kind of leans forward, kind of puts his hands together like a man who's really thinking, or perhaps praying, like that kind of pose. And he just kind of doesn't say anything.
Did he take my note before he did that?
Take your
Like,
note?
did he?
Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, my offer was information about Trent's actual heritage and stuff. You missed that whole thing?
Oh, I thought you said that to him, not that you handed a note to him.
No, because I wasn't letting Zakul know.
Right, okay.
It was just a note that I said I had been writing.
So he gives that note a read, kind of, folds it up in his hand, and then goes into this pose like he's thinking really hard.
How much more? That's why I was hoping the job would still be here.
No. He takes the piece of paper and gives it back to you, still folded, so, Zakul can't see. And he says, I'm not getting involved with any of the Weavers. That's not happening. Sorry, you're on your own for that.
Fair.
My eyes light as you guys say Weaver, because I recognize rumors, but I don't say anything else.
What did you say?
I recognize the discussion about Weavers, because guys said it, that there might be something, but I don't say anything to you guys directly. I just have a little
okay.
little bit in my eye.
If there's anything else you want to know about, I can maybe provide some more info, but we're going to leave that topic alone.
Well, you did see the note, and I haven't got anything back, so perhaps another question. The more fancy family, the people our party just went to see. The Merkunzen. The Merkunzens. What are they up to nowadays?
Yeah, he looks over at you, Zakul.
Is there a specific look he's giving me, or just looking in my direction?
He looks
I should step away?
expectant, like he's waiting for something.
Well, would he want that note?
I'll pass him 5 gold if that's what he's asking for.
He takes the gold and he nods and he says, good. The Merkunzens, they keep their nose out of trouble. Good family, as far as I've heard. Own a lot of businesses around town. A little bit here and there. There's a masonry that I think they own, a blacksmith, maybe a chartering company, a few different things here and there, and some property, of course. A few houses pay taxes to them. There's not much to say about them.
Not much you're willing to say? Are they still active in their old ways? I'll put a bag like a 10 gold, because it's a big question.
Yeah, he refuses the gold, and he actually just kind of like nudges it back to you, and he says, "No,
You don't know of their old ways.
not gonna take your money, friend. They've been completely out of trouble. Nothing from them."
Perhaps we should have asked this before our friends went running off. Well, they may be in trouble then.
If you want to get into contact with some of the wealthier people here, do nefarious business, there's a few families whose names I might be willing to give once I know you better, but Raccoonsons are not one of them.
We thought they might be, but that is good information.
Mistaken, or you know something I don't.
Well, perhaps you can give us just the name then of someone who holds enough of a grudge to make an attempt on Castle Morgan's life.
No, we don't need that. I think it's totally unrelated, so cool.
Yeah, I'd have to tell you, there's too many names, really. But it's all old grudges now, right?
Okay, well, if you think it's not reasonable, then
I think this is an old grudge. Well, it's a shame that job has passed. We'll be in town for a few days if there's anything else.
I'd like you to roll luck, please, to see if there is another job available.
Get this dice out of here.
15 or higher.
Oh, yes!
Ooh.
17.
Okay. He says, well, there is one thing you guys could do while you're here, if you wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't.
There's a local business here in town. It's been making things a lot more difficult, and if you could go ahead and plant something on the premise for me, that would really ease things up in the neighborhood.
Easily enough. What are we planting? Do you have it, or do we need to get it?
He gets up off of his chair and wanders over towards a nearby cupboard and pulls out some stuff. And when he comes back to you, he hands over to you a letter. It's like a large envelope, much bigger than just like a small note that somebody would send in the mail. It says, don't open them. The wax seal needs to be intact.
Of course.
Here, I'll give you the address. There's a filing cabinet of sorts. It's gonna look like a large wardrobe. It has a lock shaped like this, and I need you to get it into one of the upper shelves. Just leave it on top of the other papers, and forget about it. The job is forfeit if you leave any evidence behind that you were there, or if you're caught.
Consider it done.
And if you do get caught doing this, don't come back here.
I think I know that.
He gives you a nod and he says, good. Now don't fuck it up. I'd like to do more business with you. Your flying dragon friend. You seem promising.
What, well, you know what? I'll figure it out myself. Thank you.
He gives you a nod and then turns over towards Yuzuko and he says, pleasure chatting with you. Maybe I'll see you again sometime.
Perhaps. Pleasure chatting with you as well.
Be in touch.
He gives you a nod. Now get out of here.
Yep. Head towards
Just
the
to
door.
clarify something, was that like secret knock like recognizable enough that I will be able to repeat it?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
The two of you step outside and find yourselves on the landing there. Where are you going next?
So cool. Do you think they're going to be back soon? We need to let them know about the actual story we told Cal. Do you want to catch up and give me time to scout this place out?
Sure, I will fill them in if I meet them on the street. I'll head
Did you-
over towards the estate.
How'd you like it back there, by the way?
I can't say I've been a part of those types of deals before, but my pocket feels a little lighter but we did gain much information, so I suppose it was worth the time.
Information trumps all.
Cannot disagree there. And before we leave into like the public, I'll clarify that the reason I wanted a name or something was maybe we could frame another family or person here in the city if we have to do something to Castle Morgan.
Well, I won't doubt you next time, then. Forgive me.
Well, I'll head over to the McCoonsons to try to meet up with our friend. Are you scouting out that business?
Yeah, I might just get it done if it's easy enough.
Well, best of luck to you then. If you need to make a getaway, just is there an alternative spot we could possibly meet that's not Ursa's Tavern?
I'd say there's plenty of places that you guys would know in town.
Sure. I'll point out one of those like that are a little bit more discreet.
Sure.
If you don't come to Ursa's within an hour or two, we'll go over there to check to see if he's there. So we don't directly go to the business and mess up whatever he's doing.
All right. I'll give you a nod and head off towards that location.
Splitting off, the two of you go in your separate ways. You travel towards an address, while Zakul, you head towards the main gate. And it doesn't take you very long to bump into the rest of your party, which seems to be moving in the opposite direction. If they did meet with the Mercoonsons, it must have been fast.
What?
Oh, hey.
Trent,
Cool. What's up, man?
Hi, Zakul.
we seem to have concluded our business. Tessa, is something wrong?
She's
No.
not a fan of this new song I'm trying to get her to write.
No. Nope, nope, nope.
Oh.
I think it's pretty catchy.
Perhaps we could have a short conversation before we head towards Ursa's.
Oh, are we
Okay.
heading back to Ursa's already? I figured we'd go over to Castle's place. Meet with him.
So I can give you some of that information, but let's get off this public street here where our voices can be heard.
Ooh, okay.
And if I pull them aside, I want to kind of fill them in, not with what happened in the alley, like how we got the information in the alleyway, but we did a little bit of searching around town after we okay, hold on. I start with Cal's story, like the story we gave them, so they're on our version,
What do you tell
as
them?
well as
RP it.
Jesus. Okay, so what we told Cal is we're very sorry about how she was lost out there. We returned her dagger, and Cal seemed saddened, but glad that we were able to give Benevolence his last moments to us. But please try not to be too expressive about it, Trent.
Oh, wait. Her last moments? Did you tell him that we actually found her body?
Well, that seems to have been the change in the story, and that Merton had to come up with on the fly with how the flow was going. But yes, we've disclosed that after our curse gave us the time lapse. We did meet with Benevolence again, and their party was wiped out in front of us, as well as Nitch being dragged off somewhere and us being unable to recover him. Same with her escorts being annihilated. We shared a drink, and then we went.
I wasn't there.
I'm sorry?
You guys shared a drink and I wasn't there?
Well, perhaps you could share a smaller drink later, but try not to limit your
That's
interactions with Cal too much. He is grieving at the moment.
Fair
The
enough.
other information we got was about Castle Morgan, and he appears to be an old guard captain that has plenty of grudges with people here in the city. He served in the army before, but nowadays he does paperwork that puts people behind bars, or even worse, on the chopping block. And for those reasons, he seems to keep a few guards around him, and his estate seems to be a bit secluded, but at the same time guarded by people watching the streets. We should approach with a bit of caution.
Well, if he's an old guard captain, And given what just happened with us, that gives me a perfect reason to go speak with him. I could do some scouting from the inside. If you guys trust me, that is.
Didn't you just have a meeting with some nobles? Did that go poorly?
Well, you see, we got to the gate, and I showed him my papers, and the guy at the front, well, everything was going well. And then we got inside, and it's like a double gate area, and there was some sort of... I know that there was some sort of spell, right? Like, I could feel that, or I have no
Yes,
idea.
you could tell that there was magic in that room.
There was some sort of magic in there. I don't know if they were detecting that I was lying, because I said that we had a meeting with them, not just that we were going to see them, that we actually had a meeting, which I probably shouldn't have done. But that's what I told the guy out front, and it got me through the door. So I was hoping same thing would happen here. But there was a lot of contention, and I could feel a lot of eyes on us. So instead, I just gave him the plate and a note to deliver to the Merkunzens, telling them that we found it in a building that might be interesting to them because it's important to us.
Well, that is our only lead to opening that door back above, our temple. But if you are going to try to scout alone, I will warn you that a man in his line of work will be highly suspicious, and your approach may need a little bit of refinement.
I'm just gonna ask him about the gate to the main city. If he was a guard captain, I'm sure he has some sort of
Right, but would it be appropriate
with the guards there? Ask them about the process of actually getting into the city and going through the proper channels, because I am interested in actually getting there. And if they send a messenger back, and the messenger needs me to go into Hillcrest to meet with them, I'm gonna need to know the proper channels to go through to get there to meet with the Merkunzens. So we can knock two birds out with one stone by talking to Castle Morgan.
Can't say I'm overly familiar with these procedures in human cities. I turn to Tessa and Zenkus and say, if you think it's wise for Trent to give this a try, then I will not hold him back. But I am worried that someone may be a little bit paranoid and begin questioning Trent's motives in a different light.
If he believes in his ability, he should try. Also, how long have we been talking about this for?
You guys have been
in the alleyway
for a couple minutes, yeah.
And in case you guys are wondering, Paladin Merton is currently doing another errand at the moment, and he will meet us back at Ursa's.
Oh, good. We could use some more money. I'm pretty broke.
Well,
so I'll meet you guys back at Ursa's.
I look over pleadingly towards Tessa, like, do you think this is okay?
Sorry, I just had to... 1 second. Sorry, I missed it because I was talking.
No, you're fine.
So basically, Trent is going off on a solo scouting mission.
Nope.
For a Morgan. But I had deferred to you guys. Zenkis has said he's okay if he believes in his own ability. As a servant of God, obviously he knows what he's doing.
Nope.
The rest of us, knowing Trent, are kind of like, I'm looking over towards you now, like,
Yeah, no.
Trent's going off. Do we stop him?
Stop him. Nope. You stop him.
Why? What's wrong, Tessa? I'm still standing right here at the moment.
Trent, you get pretty sidetracked.
I'm just going there to speak with Castle Morgan and ask him how to get through the gate into the main city.
Trent, you're really bad with words.
How am I? I was raised a noble.
You're still pretty bad with words.
I
Listen.
think what Tessa is trying to say is perhaps
If this guard is as paranoid as you've made him out to be,
Then
which
he'll see through what you're asking him.
well, no, perhaps the guard
He'll
is
get
not
more
as
paranoid.
enamored with talking to a
Um,
noble as you may believe, is what I'm trying to say.
then he's going to be more suspicious if a group of people show up than if a single person comes by and says, "Hey, I found this thing that belongs to the Merkunzens. How do I get into the main city?" If he tells me to get out of there because I want to speak with the Merkunzens and give them their dish back.
Trent, I thought you already gave the
away
dish. You already gave the dish to the Macoons.
Right. And I also gave a note that says, if you would like to meet with me, I would love to speak with your family about your history and stuff. So if they do say that, if they're like, sure, come meet with me, there might be some sort of official channel I need to go through to get into the main city. That's all I'm going to ask about. Do I need to, like, apply for a permit to get in there? Do I need to, talk to the guards in advance and, like, give them, like, a day's notice before I show up? That's the only thing I'm going to ask about. If he sends me on my way, I will walk away without any further prying or anything.
I'm gonna look at school. He's gonna do it, but no matter what we say.
And you just said, Zakul, that you don't want me around Cal too much. So this is a good way for me to not have to go back to the bar right away.
Well, we're also trying to keep you out of the city prison if possible. But if you believe you can pull this off, we'll have to give you, you are de facto coven leader, I suppose.
Let that sink in.
Listen, if you guys are really nervous,
we're off on our side, right? There's no one
Oh yeah,
around
yeah.
us.
You guys are alone in an alley.
Okay.
if you guys want to come with me, I'm all for it. I just think it would be a little bit more suspicious for a group of people.
No. I'm not saying we need to go in together. If this is gonna happen, you should do this alone. I'm questioning whether it is worth doing alone, risking your freedom at the moment, just for cursory information about just the building layout. I suppose.
The way I see it going down is I'm probably going to get there and he's going to say, I'm not the person to talk to about that. And I'm going to say, okay, and I'm going to leave. Or the guards out front are going to tell me this isn't the place to go to for that. And I'll just leave. There's no reason for them to detain me or anything just because I show up with a question.
But even if they don't detain you, you're letting them know your face. And we have, a very specific objective that you were assigned that may not be, a good trade-off depending on what you're actually gaining from this minor operation. Is getting your face known by who we have to go after later.
We have to scout the area regardless, so the risk of our faces being seen is always going to be there.
Correct. Well, I was just outlining my points. If you still are insistent on doing this, I suppose I should allow you to.
Thanks, Zach. I knew you'd come around.
I'll just shrug. You can go if you want, but just keep in mind what I said.
Well,
please
we'll
make a note
Don't
of how
talk to the
brave
book.
and daring I am being.
Don't listen to him. Don't ever tell my book.
We'll meet you back at Ursa's Tavern as well. And I would like, if you believe you're being followed, leaving the Castle Morgan's estate or house, then I need you to go to this location. And I give them the out of the way discreet place that's not Ursa's Tavern to meet up.
Alrighty. And I'll give them a nod and saunter off in the direction of Castle Morgan's estate.
Okay. Meanwhile, you've been wandering through town following for this address, and it takes you a moment asking somebody until you eventually find yourself in a part of town where there is a number of different little businesses kind of clustered together. And they don't seem to be crafters or anything like that. Instead, these seem to be bankers. And the location that you eventually wander up to is a small loan group. It's a financier, a little like mercantile company that seems to offer like lines of credit and temporary gold for people.
Okay.
And this building is roughly about the size of a tavern. It's 2 stories tall, has an awning in front of a like a main area. Here, I'll draw it in actually.
Yeah, give me the deets.
Only if you promise to never say deets again.
Give me the details.
It's about this big. There's like a little side door here. Little stairway leading up to that. You can see here, on this side, there's a window. And this would be like the main street right here.
Are the buildings or businesses like very tightly packed, like it's a whole thing down the line, and there's no alleys, or are there?
There are alleys, but they're small enough that you could only travel like single file in between them.
So probably pretty dark down there. What about behind the buildings?
Are you going behind this building?
If I wouldn't go, if I can't see it from the street, maybe like from the layout of like the town that I've been walking in. Do I assume there's something behind it, or like is there a hill I can see, or other buildings I can see?
I'm not,
I
sure
guess
what you're
I'll-
getting at.
Well, what would I guess is behind the buildings, or can I
Oh,
not
probably
guess?
more buildings or another road.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do a cut through then, and I'll.
Okay. I'd like
I'll
you to
check.
roll luck.
Very average, a 10.
Okay. As you wander down here, you get to about this point. While looking at the side of this building, you can see there's no windows, which makes sense given that this little squalid alleyway wouldn't be much to look at. But you hear something. From around the corner of this building, there is the unmistakable sound of snoring.
That's pretty good. What's the building made of, by the way? You know, I was going to ask that.
Wood.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, I'll keep walking, and I'll look to the right.
You see what looks to be a homeless man. He currently lays there on the ground underneath a very thin blanket, and your presence seems to disturb him. For a moment, he kind of rolls around, and then, as you're taking a step past him, he wakes up with a sudden startle.
Oh, don't let me bother you. Go back to sleep. Here, take this. Give him a gold coin.
Thank you, sir. I'll rest easy tonight.
Of course. Sleep well.
He takes the coin and then just kind of like tucks back to bed.
Well, what time is it, by the way? Is it like really dark, or?
No, it's probably like early afternoon.
Okay. I'll do just like a circle around.
Sure. This area here is filled with different types of refuse. There's a bunch of crates, little like barrels and whatnot. It's like that. Somebody has left these containers. You don't know if they're filled with anything or if they're empty, but it's very disorganized. Nobody has put these here in any sort of rhyme or reason. There's no structure to it. Otherwise, it's rather empty, and you see other alleyways that go off into different areas.
You said this is kind of like a loan thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I, while I'm around the back and out of view of the homeless man, are there any other people sleeping in the alleys that I've seen, or pretty alone back here?
There's certainly evidence that there have been. You see, for instance, a discarded blanket, what looks like a broken bottle, the unmistakable scent of like recently used tobacco lays on the air, but you don't see anybody else.
I'm going to disguise myself with like a kind of like a young guy coming out of school who is dressed like he's going in for an interview.
Oh, okay. So like a scholar attempting to look fresh.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go ahead and put on this new guise. What do you want to do next?
I'm gonna go inside the front door.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing he didn't tell me exactly where this cabinet is that I need to plant this this letter in this place, right?
When you open up the main door here, there is a single gentleman who stands behind a very thin bar. And he seems to be wearing the clothes of a merchant. He turns over in your direction, and you can see that the room is otherwise empty, apart from the two of you. There's like a nice little potted plant on the bar there, and some papers. And he pauses what he's doing immediately, calling out to you and saying, "Hi then.
Good day.
What can I do you for?"
I'm a fresh young lad out of school. I was, wondering if you guys are hiring.
Hiring. You know what? These days, not so much, but appreciate the offer. You look like a fine lad. It's simply there's no help.
That's understandable. Is there anyone in here, or is it just me and him? You said it's just me and him,
It's just
right?
you and him. Yeah.
Well, kind of a lonely night. Would you mind just answering a couple questions for me? Help me out.
Make a persuasion roll, please.
19.
Sure. No problem, young lad. What is it? What questions do you have?
I'll just take a seat. I assume there's chairs somewhere. I'll sit right in front of him. Well, kind of came out of school looking for jobs, as you can tell. And it seemed like a good job to me. Just hoping you can answer some questions. What would you suggest I look into if I wanted to get a job like this one day, like yourself?
Oh, well, depends really. Studied coin when I was younger, so it seemed like the regular thing to go into,
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with it myself.
As for you, if that's your thing, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, looking around for places. Don't know who you'll find, or sometimes noble families, they're looking for somebody talented to work with them.
This place is really nice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Is the whole place the business? Is the upper story? Do you live upstairs, or how do these deals work?
I rest on the premise, and we have some other help when things get busy. This season, though, not too much happening in spring.
Yeah.
Winter tends to be the busy one for this kind of stuff.
That's cool, man.
But, you keep your chin up and keep going around to places, and I'm sure you'll find something.
Yeah, I have no doubt I'll get it. You guys probably keep this place. Well, there's no guards around. Shouldn't you have guards? Like, probably have a bunch of money in here, right? Should I hire people when I open my own business?
Oh, well, it depends on how you want to do it, right? So we don't keep a lot of cash on site, right? There's other people in town who will do the protection.
Oh, so you guys kind of keep it in a bank, and then
more like a
make
middleman sort of thing, yeah.
Oh, I see. So this is where the deals take place,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no money here, so you're not at risk. That's
Exactly.
smart.
Yeah,
that's smart.
I mean, there's places in town where they do that, but I can't exactly afford a big vault like that yet.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say this place isn't very vaulted, where I would think a bank would have a bunch of stuff. That makes sense.
So, if you're just out of school, if this doesn't work out, what you gonna go into?
Oh man, I'd be screwed. I don't know. I hope it works out for me. I haven't thought of a second plan. I probably should.
I mean, you gotta have a second plan, because I can
right.
tell you, I had a lot of people who were in class with me, and I was lucky, managed to get this little gig going. But some of the other boys weren't so fortunate, and I mean, some of them landed into places, and some of them landed into trouble.
I'm pretty lucky. I feel like it'll work out for me.
You can't just go on luck. That's the young man's mind thinking there.
Yeah, that's what my mom always tells me,
But
young
it's
and dumb.
true. She knows better.
She's always right. She's always. Well, I hope I'm not annoying you too much, but you've been a lot of help with all this information.
Yeah, well, like I said, I was in your shoes one day too. I hope it works out for you. Sorry I can't take you on. I mean, hey, if you want, you can come
Well, hey,
by
that's
in the
business,
wintertime. Might be able to do something for you. Maybe swing like a part-time
Yeah, I might take
gig.
you up on that. Yeah.
Sure.
If I'm still looking, well, hopefully I'm not looking around there. That'll be pretty far down the line. I hope I have something by then.
Yeah, if you gotta have some savings. You're not broke or anything, are you?
No, I'm all right. Little odd jobs around here. Been saving up for a little while.
Sure. Well,
I'm okay.
Here, take this, and if winter comes around and things are still rough, might be able to help you out.
I appreciate it.
He gives you like a little business card that has like the name that's outside on there, so you can add like a financier's business card to your inventory.
Sure. Well, probably should head home. Mom will be worrying about me. Thanks. You were really nice, mister.
He gives you a wave.
I'll head out. That whole thing just me gaining, knowledge about the inside.
So you see a staircase that goes here and then kind of curves into the top floor, and a room over here which seems to be closed off. There's a door to it right there. You don't know what's behind it.
He kind of said like he lived upstairs, right?
He said he lived on site.
Okay. Well, I got enough information. I'll do another loop around the back and turn back to normal and probably head out that way or something.
Okay. Are you headed back towards the group?
Yeah.
Now, where were you guys meeting exactly? And I know Trent has stepped away to go do something.
We said we were meeting at Ursa's unless something came up where they had to, get rid of a tail or, they felt like something went off during the whole process.
Sorry, I missed that. My brain totally just...
It's all good. We specified Ursa's only if everything was good, and
Okay.
if something went wrong, then they had a discrete spot.
To the other spot. Okay. So, Merton, you're headed to Ursa's. The rest of you are headed to Ursa's. Trent, you're going over towards... on your own. You're going... With 11 AC, you're going over to Mr. Morgan's
Castle
estate.
Morgan's.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Following the directions, you eventually get into a part of town which is rather nice. Now, outside here, on the opposite side of the wall, there is everything from slums to beautiful estates, and this is definitely closer to the latter. It's not expansive, it's but a single building. However, this single building is like a two-story house, very sturdily made. There's like some fresh paint on some of the outside, and it's definitely a notch above the other stuff that you've seen. And outside, you can see what looks to be a group of guards. They're seated at like a table outside and are playing a game of cards. And otherwise, it looks like a kind of normal day in the neighborhood.
I'll approach the table of guards.
Sure. As you walk up, one of them looks over to you, and he says, "Hey, boy, what do you need?"
First of all, how many of them is there?
There's two outside right now.
Hey, sorry to bother you guys. I'm Trent. Is this Castle Morgan's house?
The guard nods, says, "You got an appointment with Mr. Morgan?"
No, I didn't even know people made appointments. I'm pretty new in town here. I just wanted to ask about getting into Hillcrest proper. I'm sort of new at this, but I'm an adventurer now, and I came across a plate of some nobles there and tried to get into there to return it to their family. We found it over in Misty Town. if you can believe that.
Hmm.
I was gonna give it back to the family, but I didn't know how to get in there. I was hoping maybe I heard Mr. Morgan used to be in the guard or like pretty important around here.
Yeah, that's right. Here, I'll go check, see if he's busy or not.
Thanks, mister. I appreciate it.
Hey, no peeking. He turns to the other guard, puts down his hand on the table, and
I'll watch it for you.
he gives you a nod and then heads inside. And the other guard gives an eye roll. And I'd like you to roll luck, please, Trent. 11 or higher, and he is free to talk.
Yeah.
The door eventually opens. The guard steps out, but he's not alone. There with him is what looks to be a fairly elderly man, probably in his 60s, which for this time means you're getting somewhat on in years. And despite that, he's got a reasonable amount of pep in his step. A lot of people at this point are kind of working their way into wandering around with a cane and stuff like that. But he's fine and kind of steps over towards you, extends a hand, and he says, "Name was Trent?"
Yes, Trent of House Goldenbrow. I'll hold my hand out.
Oh, Goldenbrow.
We're a newer noble family, out from Solsland.
Huh. Haven't been
I'm,
out there in a long time.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my way in the world. That's why I took up adventuring. You can make a lot of money in this business. It's just pretty risky.
He gives you a knowing smile and he says, "Well, my guard says you've got a question or two there, Trent. I've got some things I'm working on right now, but if you make it quick, I might be able to help you out."
Sure. Do you want me to walk along with you and talk, or is it easier for us to just talk right here? I don't think it'll take too long.
Do you mean anything nefarious by having him walk away from the house?
No, I thought he said that he had stuff to do, and I was gonna just walk along while he did his stuff he needed to do.
Oh, no. He means like in the house.
Oh, okay. Well, so I was going to well, first of all, I guess I should start at the beginning. We my party and I went adventuring out in Misty Town, trying to find do you know Benevolence from around town? Tiefling girl with the really big horns.
Oh, yeah. A bit of a troublemaker, I've heard.
Well, if that's what you've heard about her, then you'll probably be happy. I mean, unfortunately she passed when we were coming back from there. Hyprex beasts,
Okay.
But
That's unfortunate.
yeah, while we were there, we found her kind of caught up in a trap in one of the old estates there. And looking around the house, we found this plate that had a noble symbol on it, and I recognized it as one that I had seen around town. And it's the Merkunzen family. So I figured, if it was their family's plate, it might be their house that we found her in, and I was gonna hope to meet with them and ask about it. So I went to the gate and I waited in line and I showed them my papers, and everything was in order, and I got through the gate. But then when I was talking to the guards inside, I mentioned that I had a meeting with them, which I didn't actually have a proper meeting. I was just bringing the plate there and hoping to get a meeting. But everybody seemed so official, and people were getting turned away that looked like they had a lot more money than me. And
He holds up his hand to get you to stop. Do you stop?
yeah, I stop instantly.
Look, Trent, they're
Yes.
very official at the gate, and if they don't let you pass, then there's nothing I can do.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was like a proper channel to go through. I sent a note to the Merkunzens, and they might send a messenger out to me. And I don't know if they're gonna need me to get inside there. If there's like do I need to like apply for a permit or anything?
He steps back towards his door. He doesn't disappear into the house, but, you know, he does that thing where he's kind of moving away from the conversation. And he says, well, if you're looking to get into contact with them, if you sent them a note, you're doing the right thing. Maybe they'll come out to speak with you. And, you know, just because they live there doesn't mean that they don't leave the city. You know, if you're lucky, they'll come and speak to you out here. Maybe they'll send a messenger. He'll probably help you get through the gate. You're doing the right thing by sending a note. But
Hey,
look,
Mr. Morgan, before you go,
yes, Trent.
thank you for your work. And I know being a guard is not an easy job, and it's very unforgiving. So I just wanted to thank you for keeping us safe and whatnot.
He gives you a nod and a smile, and he says, well, you know, justice is its own reward, but I'm happy to do my part. Now, you have a good day, and good luck speaking with the Mercoonsons.
Thank you, sir.
He turns around and heads inside.
Real quick, I just want to talk to the guards out front one last time before I go.
Sure.
Wow, so that's Mr. Morgan then, huh?
One of them nods and goes, yep.
Seems like a pretty upstanding guy.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't work with him personally, but I've heard stories. It's pretty big back in his time.
What kind of stories did you hear about him? Sorry for interrupting your game. If you guys want, I'll get out of your hair. I have a tendency to get on people's nerves.
Make a
Kinda like
persuasion
looking.
roll, please.
I think that's a 19.
Ooh.
Yes, 19.
Well, they continue their game, but one of them, the one that had opened the door, periodically turns from his hand every now and then in between playing a card and continues to chat. He says, well, you know, started out as a soldier, apparently, and fought in a couple of big skirmishes. There was a few battles in the woods nearby here, where apparently he's... You know what a kill count is?
Yeah.
It's pretty
course.
up there.
Oh, wow.
A few of those battles, I mean, I don't know if it's true, but they say he took down like 12 men in a single fight.
Single-handedly?
Yep.
Wow.
Brought him back from the dead 2 or 3 times, and eventually, I think after his last stop, he came back and worked as a guard for a bit, cleaned up crime in one of the eastern areas, and then, you know, age came on, kind of a problem with the hip, and, well, still works for the guard officially, but, you know, kind of stuff you can do from your house, you know.
Yeah. Those army men, they're pretty disciplined and strict, aren't they?
You thinking of joining?
I don't know, man. This adventuring life, I don't know if you heard me talking to him, but I just got back from Misty Town, and I mean, we weren't even there for 5 minutes before I already saw somebody's body laying there just rotting away with a crossbow bolt in his neck.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
You don't really sign up to be an adventurer with any kind of life expectancy.
Look, word of advice, if that stuff gives you chills, you might want to hop out now.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I mean, I have my craft. I'm pretty good at making liquor, and Dad says I got a real knack for it. But problem with that is the materials are, you know, it's not cheap stuff. You can't just
Hey, guy,
start producing.
I've got this friend named Raban, lives in town. He used to do what you used to do, or are doing, I guess, and had a run-in with a group of trolls, and made it out with only half of his party. The rest of them ran back to town, and he's never been the same. Well, they keep him around the church so priests can tend to him, but like his mind never really, fixed back up. Like, I'm serious. If you think you can make a living brewing, then just go for that.
I'll kind of like absentmindedly nod and be quiet for a moment. And so Mr. Morgan, pretty good boss then. If maybe I tried to get into the guard life. Does he seem like a good boss to you guys? Does he treat you guys well?
Being assigned here is an easy enough post. Play games all day, answer questions from civilians every now and then.
Gotcha.
The other one across the table gives you a sour look.
Is he getting frustrated with me? Like,
It
do I need
looks
to roll
like it,
insight?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again for everything, guys. Here, and the one who's been doing all the talking, are they just betting with like coins?
They don't seem to be betting. They're just playing cards to kill the time.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I was gonna give him some coins for the, but I'll put like a gold piece in front of each of them, and be like, thanks for your time, guys. I appreciate it.
They give you a nod, and the sour one just kind of his features soften a bit when you put the gold there, and the other one goes, "Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Think of what I said."
I will. You said Raban's over at the temple.
Yeah, there's a temple to Bella in town, and I think he's still there, but he's not all there, like I said.
Thanks, and I'll head out.
Okay.
I'll head back to Ursa's.
Now, you've been at the let's see here. You've been wandering through the streets for a little bit, and for the sake of simplicity, I'll say that you guys bump into Trent before stepping into Ursa's. You're like 2 blocks away, about to get over there, when you see him approach.
Hey, Trent. How'd it go?
Pretty good.
We walk really slow.
They've got 2 guards stationed out front of his house. Or I'll like pull them into an alley or something first, obviously.
Sure.
I'm not just gonna say this in front of everyone. They've got 2 guards posted out front of Castle's place, and Castle sounds like a pretty tough cookie. They said not only was he a soldier and fought in a number of battles, but he also had a pretty legendary kill count. They said he would take down 12 men before falling himself, and according to one guard, he's actually been brought back from the other side multiple times, which means he must have been even more useful as a soldier than most. And I also learned that he's got a bad hip. I don't know if that's useful at all, but something to keep in mind, knowing weaknesses and stuff.
Now,
And
Trent, when you observed him, did he seem to be favoring either side? Have a limp of any sort?
did he favor it at all? Like, was he limping?
Make
From
a
what I saw.
retroactive perception check, please.
I love retroactive perception checks.
The best
Whoa,
kind.
I took my mouse off screen. God damn it. It's a 14.
14. You had noticed that, yeah, he doesn't seem to move very fast, but it wasn't like a very noticeable hobble where, he can't put any weight on one leg. And if you had to guess which side it was, you wouldn't actually be able to. But he does seem to move a bit slower.
I don't know if it's his soldier training or what, Zakul, but he didn't really limp on either side, but he did move pretty slowly. he's pushing 60s, maybe 70. It's hard to tell. And he's still pretty well built for a guy of his age. Sounds like the only thing that pushed him out of being a guard still is just his age. So I don't think his performance was like that lackluster or anything. Given enough pressure, one of his hips might give, but he didn't really make it obvious which one it is. Maybe that's his soldier background or his guard training kicking in, not revealing his weaknesses. But
It seems you found fruitful, or you found your little excursion fruitful for information. Well done, Trent.
thanks. One of the guards also mentioned something about some guy, some other adventurer. I don't think it has anything to do with anything we're doing, but it might be interesting. Guy named Raban. He's an old adventurer. They keep him at the Temple of Bella because he had to run from some kind of encounter with trolls. Lost half his party there and came back not quite all there, if you know what I mean. And yeah, he's over at the Temple of Bella. They treat him there for what they can. Might be interesting if it ever pops up. If we ever need to talk to an old adventurer, someone who's been around the block. They said he's not quite there in the head, so we'll have to take everything he says with a grain of salt. But he sounds intriguing, and I kind of want to meet him.
I nod along with Trent, but I'm already moving on and turning towards Merton and go. Did you finish your errand, Paladin Merton?
No, I didn't finish.
Did you require any assistance on that sometime?
Yeah, we can talk about it later. You want to help me out tonight?
Just me, or the others as well?
It's just a two-man. I mean, one man, two man if you want to be safe job.
A one-man,
Well.
two-man safe job, man.
Well, I got the
One man,
impression
two
that
man, red man, blue man.
I got the impression you just needed a pair of eyes to watch your back.
Yeah,
And
that's
one
exactly
that's
what I need.
not as quite as conspicuous as as I reach down at my heavy armor and my giant stature.
I'll,
Perhaps a
I
human
can keep
could
watching
be
right.
better.
I'll look at the little short guy. You're right. Maybe someone a little less conspicuous. What do you say? Zenkas?
Why
Not
not?
much,
It
apparently.
seems like fun.
There you go.
You need another pair of eyes?
Not this time, Trent. It's a quiet operation.
I think we should go find materials to do a little bit of your brewing tonight. If you need an assistant for that, I'll be happy to help. Or happy to help.
Sure.
I already put an
Um,
arm around Trent. You did enough scouting today. We could probably fix a drink for our friend Cal at Ursa's.
Team money.
What?
You're looking for cool stories, right?
Yeah? Aren't we all now?
You should go talk to that Raban guy with your book. I'm sure his tale is pretty interesting. It at least involves trolls and a lot of people dying, so if it's not, directly involved with our story, it could have some cool implications for maybe a little side story or spin-off that you might write.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for people's other stories. I'm looking for our stories.
That's fair.
It could very well be the beginning to something involved in our story.
Yeah,
Think
I'd
of
be
his
down to
own-
go hunt some trolls.
I don't know about that, but
At least trolls are scared of fire, unlike Hyprex beasts.
is that a fact? I just know.
Oh, I don't know.
I just know them to be terrifying creatures, but perhaps there is some merit to listening to his words, Tessa. And we could find some other lead for your own story, of course.
It just seems like everybody's kind of doing like their own thing tonight. Figure you might as well get some work for your book done, unless you just want to sit around and watch us make beer.
I'll find something to do.
No, we're not making beer tonight, Trent. We're making dragonfire alcohol. As I rib him hard.
Dragonfire. I could make some fire water. We're gonna have to go get materials for it though, and I am broke.
Sure, we'll go shopping. I click my coin purse, and I do remember you guys helped me keep this sometime before it Hillcrest. Might as well spend a little bit of it in town.
I have a question, just as the DM. What is the party's total gold right now?
I have 5 silver and 100 gold pearl for identify.
I have 46 gold and 5 silver left. After
63
paying off
gold
the
and 27
rent.
silver.
You guys are so rich.
55 gold.
Oh my god.
40 gold.
You guys
What
have
the?
like 200
that's why
gold. With Trent at 0.
We didn't
I
all
have
spend
zero.
our
He
money
has
on.
0, but he's giving away gold to people playing cards. So
We
I was
bought
like,
an
he deserves
identify
it.
pearl.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
we
do
shared
all-
him with some gold, right? And then he's like, I'm gonna give it to these card guys, even though I have no money. I'm like, all right, Jimmy. I was just nodding to myself. Okay. But sure.
Hey, I needed to get them on my good side.
I
They were
didn't buy
giving me good
shit.
info.
I bought a couple of daggers, and that was basically it.
Okay, I was just curious what the party is at.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm
Are we
fine
the
as
richest
well.
group, Illusion?
No,
No,
Tuesday, easily.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday's rolling in the
They
money.
have their own business.
Well, beyond that, they got really lucky on their first session and found a rapier that was worth like 1,000 gold.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
Damn.
you get enough nat 20s and the money comes on in. Don't worry, they're spending it like retards. They'll be poor in like 2 days.
Don't listen to this session, Tuesday. He's just joking. Keep spending your
so
money like retards.
I'm pretty much taking Trent out, not on the town, as well as getting him some brewing material.
So
Trying
you
to
two are
lift
going to
his
go
spirits up.
shopping. The ultimate goal is to get the contents, or sorry, ingredients to make some very, very hard liquor. As for the 3 of you, what are you guys up to?
Zencast and I are going for a night on the town too. Just a different
Pretty sure
style.
Tessa's just gonna
Planting
keep the
some
time away
evidence.
from everyone.
What are you going to do, Tessa? Just sit in your room at the tavern, or?
Yes. Just get away from it and reread over everything in the book to make sure it's right.
Okay,
All right. Could have a private conversation.
sounds good.
We come back to her whipping her book, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. So
How dare you write down what Trent said?
I think we'll start with you two. Now, are you guys doing this at night?
I need to ask him some questions first. Zencast, what are your skills? You're certainly stealthy and perceptive, I've noticed. Do you have any magical abilities? Things that would help in a stealth mission?
I can make fart noises in people's heads.
Ooh, you know what? You can do noises in people's heads, right?
Yes.
Well, you might not be able to be stealthy, but you can help me be stealthy if you plant some noises in his head so that he can't hear me sneaking around. Do you have anything better than that? Like, do you have an ability that would make me sound quiet? Or is what the first thing I said should be our go-to? Can you can you make like a noise that he might think is just like a headache or something? I just need a distraction for like 60 seconds while I do my business.
So I'm just looking through, trying to remember if I have to see him.
Oh, that's no problem. You can just go in the front door. We can go back right now while they're still open and do that.
By the way, while you look through that, I was so proud of myself until I saw somebody say that they should have Trent should just poison him right now. I was like, man, I'm doing so good, and then I saw that, I was like, well, not doing that good.
That would have been too badass a move.
Give him the Oblivion poison apple.
You ain't that smooth yet.
Those Oblivion poison apples were like, oh, like they killed anything that would eat them. It was pretty awesome.
Yep. So what
Okay,
was?
sorry. I just have to be within 30 feet of him. I don't have to see him.
Ah,
How
extra spooky.
How tall was that building?
2 stories. So if each story is, I don't know, like 8 or 9 feet, then yeah, there you go.
Well, if we wait till night and he's in his room, you could maybe send some noises to his head and he wouldn't hear me sneaking around downstairs. How does it work? Practice some on me. I want to see what it sounds like.
So you want me to roleplay the sounds?
Or you can describe what kind of sound. Well, yeah, I guess if you have to make it with your mouth, I guess, yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's just,
Clanrad, RP those fart noises. Go.
No, not fart noises, like just like a buzzing or like, you know, it's one of those noises that your head just makes sometimes and you're like, like, get out of here. Just a distracting noise where he wouldn't hear someone.
I'm super
downstairs.
ready for this.
Just like a
where are the
buzzing.
windows on the building?
There were none on the ground floor. I didn't ask if there were any on the top floor, so I don't know.
There's a set on the top floor that face outside. They are up here, like above the steps.
I mean, most people sleep in a bedroom with windows, so I would assume that's his bedroom. I don't think he would sleep on the ground floor. I'm betting the cabinet I need to get to is in that room in the back on the ground floor. That's generally where you would keep your business stuff. It's not like you would go upstairs with people to do business. That would be kind of strange.
Are we close to the building right now to see it or no?
I'd say you guys are probably just wandering around in an alleyway somewhere. Like you're not by there, but you could be there soon if you need to be.
Well, why don't you... Okay, we'll do a double distraction. Now, this is a loan place. So why don't you go in asking about a loan? For Aleutian, when I was in there, did it look like when he was having like loan conversations with people, there would be a place where he would be sitting in that front room?
It looks like they just talk at the desk itself.
At that main counter?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So it's a loan place. So we're going to make up a story for you, Zenkus, where you need a loan for some reason, and you're going to make yourself look like a juicy target, right? Because he wants to make money. So you're going to have a... Can you talk to people and make the noise in their head at the same time? Can you do that?
I'm not sure. We didn't really discuss that with Lucian.
I would say table talk, probably not. I'd say it's one or the other.
Okay. Then we need Tessa for this. Tessa? Okay. We got to go back and get Tessa.
Okay.
Tessa will be the person getting a loan, and you will be making noises in his head.
So you guys go back to the tavern, and it is probably about the middle of the afternoon right now, and there is a couple that seems to be eating over there by the window, and the two of them look to be a man and woman who are commoners in like their late 20s sort of thing, just sort of eating and whatnot. And Cal is there behind the bar, and he waves as you guys kind of step in. But you don't actually see Tessa around, though you know which room she normally sleeps in.
Well, Merton would know. I don't because I haven't been here.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a fair point. Oh, Will muted for a sec.
What the fuck? When did I mute?
Oh, I don't know. You just unmuted.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
That you gotta go back and get Tessa.
What the hell did... I must have clicked a keybind or something. Anyway, Tessa! Knock, knock, knock on the door.
Okay, Tessa,
Tessa.
you're in your room. What have you been doing
Going
during
to
this
ignore
time?
it. I'm editing my book.
Okay, so you're going over the book and changing certain bits and adding other bits, taking certain bits out. When there's a rap on the door and Merton calls out.
Can I pretend I'm sleeping?
Sure. There's no sound that comes from beyond the door.
We require aid. It would make a good story. You get to play actor tonight.
Oh, can I
know you're
definitely pretend
interested.
I'm sleeping?
I'd like you to make a deception roll, please.
If I'm a sheet. Deception is that charisma based? It is. Yes, I'm proficient. Oh my god. That's a 12. Fuck.
I'd like you to make a perception roll, please.
Can I tell she's ignoring me?
Damn.
18.
You hear what sounds like a snore from beyond the door there, and by the time that she makes a second one, you're almost certain that it's fake.
All right, Zenkus, let's go. I've always got a plan B. No worries.
While she's still in there, I'm just going to use my silent speech because she'll be within 30 feet. And I'm just going to say, open the door! And just
No,
like
no,
in her
no.
head.
Oh, I can't hear that.
I'm just gonna ignore it.
I'm walking away. We got a plan B.
Zenka shouts at you to open the door, and you don't. Where are you guys going next?
I'm going to the building. It's going down right now.
It's going down. Okay.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to where the hobo was.
Okay. Around
Is
that
he still
corner,
there?
you find that this area clearly has a patch of dirt where, there's an indent of somebody sleeping and whatnot, like a man-shaped sort of imprint on the ground, but he is no longer there.
Oh, he's gone.
The blanket is gone, the man is gone, even the
He
bottle
probably
he
used
had at
the
his
gold
side.
to get a place at an inn. Now I can't use him.
He is enjoying the
bitch.
company of a cheap hooker, perhaps.
That's
All
what
right,
all beggars
Zenkus.
do with the money.
Well,
Or maybe getting a
Plans.
sandwich.
plan C, Zenkus. Good thing I'm so sneaky. You're just gonna go in and talk to him.
I'm looking up at the windows.
Sure.
I'm going to try and use my thermology to see if I can just make it shift a little. See if they're locked.
Oh, the thaumaturgy?
Yeah, sorry.
Sure. Go ahead and make a luck roll, please.
Huh?
What did you just do? You just make the windows open.
For it. There's a moment where the windows kind of flap for a second, and then, whoosh, the top windows from the second floor just fly open. There's an audible sound as they do so, but
Genius.
it's just kind of like a crack. It's not enough to actually break the glass. The windows are now open.
Wait. Okay, you're genius. I look inside. Is the guy in there? Did he notice that?
As I'm walking in, I'm just going to say, I saw someone sneak up through your window. I'm going to run in and tell them.
Okay, I sprint to the back because I get his plan and I'm ready.
I just saw your someone just opened your windows and went in upstairs.
I'd like you to make a deception check, please.
Genius.
Oh,
You
rolled pretty
can
high.
do it. It shouldn't have to be that high.
He just heard a sound. Did he hear the sound?
So what is that?
It's not gonna be that high. That's
You
just
rolled?
a straight 10.
Okay. He looks over at you as you run in. His gaze is already turned towards the top of the steps behind him by the time that you come in. And he says, "What? Who?"
I don't know. I just saw your windows open up top.
He goes, "Okay, you go call the guard. I'll be right back." And then he goes running up the steps.
I really like that plan, and I was believe in him the second you did it. I'm just running through the back here
Mm-hmm.
to try to phase through right where I think this room is, because I think that's where I'm betting the cabinet is.
After a moment, you step into this next room and find yourself in a latrine.
Oh, that's a bathroom, right?
Thankfully, not literally in like the hole, but yeah, you're in an outhouse. It's the
It's a
bathroom.
bathroom?
Yep.
Shit. Well, it's gonna have to wait till another night.
You can hear like footsteps running up the stairs and like, smashing around upstairs and everything on the floorboards.
And when I was in the main room, I didn't see a cabinet, right? Like anywhere. No. Okay. And it's definitely not in here, so we're going back out, and I'll just wait in the alleyway.
Okay. You slip back out, and Zenkus soon finds you around the alleyway there.
Were you able to do what you needed to do?
Nope, but I learned that it's on the second floor. So good job. I liked the idea. We'll have to come back tomorrow.
I look up and I'm just seeing that there's no windows.
Mhm.
We
It
might
was a
need
good-
someone. We
it
might
was a
need
good
someone to
distraction.
call him.
No. It'll be okay. Good job. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll get it
And
done then.
While we're doing this,
Yeah, we're
we
probably
should-
like hurrying back, not just standing here.
Okay. Zakul, as you go looking around with Trent here, I'd like one of you to make a luck roll to see what you can find for the purpose of making hard liquor.
XUZ.
Roll a 19.
As fortune would have it, the market stall that you end up at has a surplus of, what's it called? Some of the ingredients that you would use for, like, the hard alcohol that you are used to. It's not like the simple grain that would be put into beer, but instead, like the high sugar content of fruits that you want to get a hold of. And you find them in abundant supply. And I would say, how much do you intend to make? Are you guys making like a glass for everybody? So like a very small single batch? Or like we're all getting turnt for the next 3 weeks? Or what's going on?
I would say like maybe 2 or 3 bottles. So one or two for the road and one.
Like a mini
like the-
keg.
Right, the bottle being enough to serve everyone.
Okay. I would say that will cost you about 5 gold, given the prices today.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pay that?
I'll pay 5 gold.
Okay.
Unless this is enough for everything that we're gonna buy, right? This isn't like just the part ingredient, and then now we need to get other stuff.
Yes, this is enough to make the base stuff. Now, Trent, you notice the things that are pointed out by Zakul, and he goes ahead and pays for them and comes back to you with a bunch of fruits. And you have not made any beer quite like that. You've made some beer where you put like, maybe fruit in it to give some flavor, but he doesn't come back with any grain or anything like that. It's like a little different.
I would be able to use this, right?
Yes.
Like, given the fact that I have, proficiency with brewery schools and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm probably okay with it.
Okay. Do you guys go back to Cal's to start brewing in your room?
I'm
That sounds
up for that plan, unless you have something else to do in town. Trent?
Evolution. Do I know of any like secret ingredient or anything that might make this like more enjoyable, like cinnamon maybe or something like that? Making fireball.
Oh god. I would say that you could find some for the price of a couple gold if you wanted to get adventurous.
It's not my money yet. I'll start thinking of those things.
Okay.
I guess. Like those are things that I'll like, while we're looking at the stuff in the shop, I'll be like, oh, that would be really neat to add in.
Do you say that out loud?
No,
Okay.
I'm just brainstorming.
As we're walking back, I'm already like boasting to him, like, don't worry about all the weaker things you humans drink. With these, we'll make some actual alcohol, the ones that can light a little bit of a fire in your belly.
All right, ma'am. I'm down for some.
Zakul has in his arms. Do any of you guys know what like dragon fruit is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got like basically a weaver's basket full of these things. There's just like a whole bunch of them. And
Trying to.
you guys get back into Cal's, and I need a brewer's check from you, please, Trent, as you get started on the thing. Now, table talk, this will take longer than, a couple of hours. You're making hard liquor. It's going to take days of distilling.
Right,
but
well,
you can-
fermented, right?
Yeah,
For
but you can
cooking.
start now.
This just gets my proficiency bonus, right?
And I say that you could use either int or wisdom for it as well, if you'd like.
Sweet, I will definitely add my int. So that is a 16.
Okay. The ingredients are somewhat foreign to you, but you know the basic concepts. As long as there's starch or sugar, you should be able to work this into alcohol along the way. You don't know how long it's going to take, but you get to matching the stuff up and kind of breaking it down into a paste. And Zakul kind of offers what help he can in telling you, what the end product is like. And the two of you guys get stirring away in your room there. You know this is going to take a while, but the first step has definitely been completed successfully. Now, time has to basically run its course. Now,
I will definitely give an exaggerated high five to.
I'll hold up my hand up so you can high five.
the time freezes when your hands collide, and 90s music plays in the background.
Only 90s kids will get this.
Eventually, the two come back, and Merton and Zencast, you return to Cal's after having an afternoon of attempting to break and enter, and then kind of having it work out. You got info, but you didn't finish the job. And you can hear Tessa's clearly still asleep. There's she's not out here. She might be in town, but there's no sound coming from her room. Whereas Trent's room is like a flurry of activity.
So ask if I can make a check to see how editing my book comes.
How it helps?
How my editing is coming along on my book.
Oh. I would say that given all the stuff that you guys have gone through, go ahead and make an intelligence check for me. Just straight int.
Where is my sheet? It's just an 11.
Okay. There's a lot of content in here, but despite that, it's very fresh in your mind. It's one thing to edit something that happened weeks ago, but you can actually recall all the events and everything, all the crazy mishaps and the high adventure and whatnot, and your editing is coming along pretty well. The book that you've got there is not something that you'd feel comfortable putting on the shelf, but it serves as a very good first draft.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you're going away at that. When Merton and Zencast, you guys come back, you can hear clearly from down the hallway from Trent's room the sound of mashing fruit
music.
and
A
different
high five.
equipment. And a very loud high five at the end. What's that song? It's like, hey, 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 down. I'll have to find that.
The one from Breakfast Club?
That might be it. I think that one ends with
The theme song
"Don't
for
You
it?
Forget About Me."
Yep. That is the theme song for Breakfast Club.
Don't you forget about me.
I wanna talk to the brewers for a sec.
For sure, yeah. You get over towards the door. Would you guys have locked it?
Nah.
Okay, so you're able to step
just
in, and there they
in.
are.
Hey, you guys. I'm
Alright,
gonna
now I need
be.
you to mash this.
Hey,
oh,
Trent.
What's up, man?
Just-
He's got like pieces of fruit all over him.
I'm gonna be at this address tomorrow. I'll say whatever address it is. Just kind of doing my own thing tomorrow, bright and early. If you need me, I'll be there. Okay. But I'm going to bed now so I can get up early.
Affirmative.
All right. Good night.
You cool, man?
Yeah, we're cool. I just gotta scout the place out as long as I can tomorrow.
Okay, dude.
All right, you guys have fun.
Once we finish up here, we can discuss what we're gonna do about Morgan tomorrow
Yeah,
as well.
I'm going right to bed after that.
Okay. So with that, I'd say that you brewers get to a comfortable spot where everything's mashed up and time needs to run its course. Yeast is added to the mixture, and now you just have to wait. And then it'll be a long process of peated distills after that. As for Tessa, you get down to writing in your book and editing until eventually sleepiness comes around. And same for you, Merton and Zencast. You guys kind of tuck away into your rooms. Zencast, you'll find that the bartender Cal is a pretty accommodating guy. He seems kind of quiet, but he's really genuinely nice with you, and informs you that the party you're with is close enough to him that you don't have to pay for the room. It's yours, and if you need food, just let him know. And so you have your own little room key and everything. That
My
seems
own
like
little room.
yeah, that seems like a good place to
It's
start.
under the stairs.
Yeah, it's a literal closet. He just gives you a little crate, has like a little pillow in it and a tiny little blanket. But yeah, we'll end the session there. I think that's a comfortable spot.
With alcohol making.
With alcohol in the make, yeah. I know
And
that,
90s music playing.
and 90s music playing. I know that we have to kind of cut things very close to the wire there, so I'd rather end 5 minutes ahead instead of having to dip out
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
But very well done, guys. I think that you accomplished some stuff and made it back to town without dying.
So
I'm gonna forget. Does he have gambling in the bar or no?
Is there gambling? People
Yeah, like people
gamble.
playing cards.
People definitely gamble on their own time, but there isn't like a specific thing in the bar where they
just
gamble.
people playing cards.
There's no like.
I'm
craps
gonna
table.
forget it. I'm gonna forget it tomorrow or next week. I mean,
Do you have
Okay, thanks.
proficiency with any game sets?
no, I'm just gonna literally try and sit behind the people who are and just tell my person, hey, they have this, they have this.
The good old cheating with telepathy.
Interesting. Huh. Okay, I'd like you to make a luck check.
Oh, we can do this
also
next.
cause problems too. But
We
No,
can
no,
just do
no.
this
We can
next
end.
week.
We can end today on some problems. Go ahead and roll a luck check.
Jesus Christ. Can end the day on some problems, isn't it?
Okay.
Nice.
There's a group of a couple of men who are playing cards over in the corner there. The game that they have going on seems to be for some money. There's a couple silver here and some gold there on the table. And you go over and basically provide the contents of certain hands to different people. And at one point, one of them turns to you and tells you to piss off. Do you do so?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll walk away. I'm
Um,
not gonna try. I'm just going around doing this.
Okay. You're a shoot away from the group. Do you turn in for the night after that?
Yeah.
Okay. Crisis averted. We will end the session there.
Woo! The revenge story of Cal when he kills us with Benevolence's dagger will be awesome.
Yeah, you guys think you're waking up tomorrow. So, I'd like to thank all the players. I think you guys did great. You made it back to town, found out what's going on with
Didn't
some other
die.
quests. Didn't die, yep, successfully.
No Hyfrex feast yet.
Yep. You didn't collect the gold for the quest, but you did complete it, I would
God
say.
damn you
You
guys.
fucking murdered the
How
poor
dare
woman.
you send me on a mission and don't get me paid?
Yeah,
We
you
got
completed
paid
the
anyways.
quest, but then did like an additional side quest,
We're getting paid in the form of not
We're
having
getting
to pay
paid
for
in
our rooms.
knowledge.
We're
Yeah,
getting
that's
paid
good
in the
enough.
Yeah,
form
but how
of
much
restoring
how
an
much
evil
are the
temple.
rooms compared to how much we would have gotten paid though?
We were only getting paid 5 gold for that whole thing.
5 gold each though.
I got paid in getting to kill people. That's
And
For Trent,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, Trent is
500% more
broke.
gold than
Yeah,
he has
seriously.
right
Trent's like
That's
dead
true.
broke.
but he's also giving away money, like I said. Wait.
now. Yeah, you guys are going to have
Easy
to be
come,
lines
easy
of credit
go.
for him.
Yeah, nope.
Thanks to all the audience for coming by and watching, and thanks to all the patrons. Without you, couldn't do it. Thanks to all the people with biddies, also super helpful. We're going to end this here. Biddies. We've got a game for Tuesday. Currently, the richest group's coming up, and then Wednesday, the poorest group later on. And
What's it?
I don't really know how to describe Thursday group right now. The almost the
box
most
group.
deaded group.
They did get the puzzle box, though.
They did get a puzzle box. Yeah, their life expectancy very low for Thursday group. So yeah, if you want to tune in during the week, we've got some more games coming up. Otherwise, see you later. Adios.
it. Just had to be a damn bathroom.
What do you think those trees were? They're like actually man-eating
They were
trees?
like fucking like man-eating trees. You fucking go by it and they just their
Snatch
vines
you
come
up,
alive
pull you
and
under
shove
there.
you down.
Just start chewing
Yeah.
on you.
What was that thing we met in the Underdark that was exactly like that? It was like the rocks with tentacles. Basically try to eat you.
Those
Little
are
penis
different.
monster.
Yeah, those are different.
Those are lurkers, I think. No.
There's
Wait,
two
so is
types.
this-
There's ropers and piercers.
Yeah, roper.
Yeah, roper.
Ropers, that's right.
Yeah.
Those ropers.
They are super
Piercers
fun.
are. I hate piercers.
Ropers are so scary.
Well, I meant the treants would like act similar to that manner. They were trying to eat you and pull you underground.
Yeah, those
Good
were
night, guys.
patented hugging trees. I don't know why you guys had to.
Get out of here, Mission.
Sleep tight, Kay. We'll see you on the
I don't know
next
why
one.
everybody,
They hug
everybody
you
stayed
with
away
their
from
mouths.
Okay.
I have a quiz.
Good luck.
Whenever I don't have a test. I don't really need this quiz. I can just drop it, but yeah. Alright, so.
I shall kill stream as well. Good night, stream.
I found the song.
Oh.
Please link it in general.
It is "Don't You Forget About Me." It's just the beginning of it. Goes,
Oh, okay.
Hey, hey.
Yeah. Bow, bow.
So make sure you kill the stream before you get hit with a copyright.
Oh yeah, for doing our own rendition. Twitch is like, damn, his karaoke was so on point that our algorithm picked it up.
I mean, if this was YouTube, you'd be caught an ID flag right there.
Too true. Did he just say the words Breakfast Club? Slap him with the flag. Copyright. Oh no! Bye, Twitch!